All right, welcome everybody to Tabletop to Keyboard. I am Dustin, your game master tonight, and with me is a fine selection of players who we're going to do real quick intros and a little introduction to who their characters are going to be. We are running a Bitter Harvest. This is the adventure from the back of the Zweihander core rule book, revised core rule book, written by Theo Riches and Daniel D. Fox. Daniel D. Fox, of course, the directive creator behind Zweihander. We've had him on the Wisdom Check a couple times. So I'm super excited. I have ran this adventure twice off stream, once on a online game off stream and once in the game shop, local game shop, and both parties it ended fantastically. So I was super excited to get a group of players who had not seen the adventure, because that's kind of hard to do. Most people who have the Zweihander books read the adventure in the back. I think everybody is prone to do something like that. But I wanted to get some people together who had no knowledge of the adventure and run them through this adventure. It's a pretty short adventure. I'm expecting 2 sessions. I hope we'll get about halfway through it tonight, and then in 2 weeks we'll be back here for the for what will hopefully be the conclusion of Bitter Harvest. And if there's enough of them still surviving, we might move on to something about Marie, which is the adventure in the back of Main Gauche. So that's our plan for this group here. That would be 4 to 5 sessions that'll run us up till the beginning of Vigilantes of Valandria, when I'll be launching it sometime here in early 2021. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and meet our players and their characters. We will start with you, Malice. Tell us about Bingo and about yourself.
Hello, hello. I am Malice from the Malice Conspiracy. I stream video games and talk about video game development and other fun content like that on my stream. But here, we get to play some tabletop, and I'm really excited about that. Today we're playing Bingo, a elderly halfling watchman who is got a really good eye, but only one, really. Actually, he's missing his nose. He's generally a pretty grumpy but very oddly charismatic fellow nonetheless. And he is very interested in saving his own ass, because that's how he's lived to be elderly. Because you don't live that long in the Zweihander world by being that much of a hero.
All right. Is this your first time playing Zweihander?
This is my first time playing. I have played a game similar to this, Warhammer Fantasy Online, roleplay, and it is very similar and just as brutal.
All right. Moving across to overlay, our next player, Georgie, is playing Vladimir. Tell us a little about yourself, Georgie, and Vladimir.
Hey, I'm Georgie. You can find me basically here because this is the only place I play things. And Vladimir is a very lengthy 8'6" ogre weighing in at 160 pounds. But somehow he is very, very tanky. The boy has a gut plank. He's a smart fellow, which also leads him into a career as a pamphleteer. So he works for a paper, very interested in what's going on and getting that news out to the world. Good looking guy, blonde hair, gray eyes. So he's looking to have some fun.
That's right. We have a giant ogre who's frail for his ancestry and has a gut plate, which means that he has like a beer belly that's so hard and leathery it counts as armor. So he's a pamphleteer. He's a journalist. So
It's all that vodka.
God bless grim and perilous character creation, right? You get some great combinations of stuff that would never happen otherwise. So this is going to be one of those characters. And have you played Zweihander before?
I have. I was in your Terror and Treefell, and you killed me twice.
I have. I've killed him twice in Zweihander. Nice. So we're going for the trifecta. We're going for the hat trick here in Bitter Harvest. And thanks everybody in the chat for all the birthday wishes today. It is my 41st birthday, so thank you all. We're going to move across our overlay over here to Debbie Snacks. Debbie, tell us about Freddie and about yourself. And you're muted. That didn't take long.
That was first. Yay, I'm number one. Hi, I'm Debbie Snacks. You can follow me on Twitch at Debbie Snacks. You can often find me in all the RPGs on Wednesday nights with Christopher Rick playing Pirates and Starcrawl. And I've not been playing RPG online for very long. Just got started this year, so kind of jumped into the deep end. My character is Frederick Schorhammer. You can call him Freddy for short. He's a young man, about 35, low-born, always trying to work his way up. He works as a cheap jack. Essentially what he does is goes around and sells his wares to people who need them, both also low-born, but from time to time will be able to make some bargains with people a little bit more in his class, higher than his class. So you'll recognize him very easily if you see him. He has a husky build, fair skin, a little bit of like a farmer's tan. He stands 6'2" and 253 pounds.
All right.
And this is my first Zweihander.
Right. This is your first Zweihander.
Yeah.
So, last but not least, we have the nerd down there playing Cork. Tell us a little about yourself and your character, Cork.
This is my first time doing anything like this. I'm a total noob. My character name is Cork. She is a gnome quartermaster, and she's like 4'11", weighing in at 160 pounds, and she's also a lowborn, but will steal the bride.
All right. So, we are going to go ahead and kick things off here and get rolling again. I am Dustin. I'll be the GM for Bitter Harvest. If you come here to Tabletop to Keyboard at all, you know who I am. My two other adventures, Terran Treefell, Horn Huttenberg, both up on YouTube. You can find those there. They're good times. I kill players. It's great. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get started. One last thing before we get started, though. However, already, Alexander Wrights has already paid 100 bits to flip one of your guys' fortune to misfortune. If you don't know what that means yet, you'll figure it out as we go along. I will be teaching the game because, as you heard, many of them have never played Zweihander before. So I'm going to be kind of teaching the game to them also as they play through this, kind of a starter adventure. So our adventure begins in the city of Swansea. And you have all come here for your own independent reasons. And when you guys as a group come in, you find that there is a big to-do going on around town. There's white bows up everywhere. There's processions coming in from both ends of town. And everything seems to be heading and congregating to the Church of the God Emperor, which is kind of centralized inside of Swansea. And across the street, there's an inn with a large tavern reception type hall, which seems to also have a fair amount of decorations up on it, and is the inn where you guys were planning on staying. You get there, and you find that there's these large processions, everything's going on, and it doesn't take you long to catch a rumor that there's a very, very, very influential man in town being married. And his name is Maximilian Steiger. You don't know much about him. It's possible that Freddy, being a cheap jack, perhaps has had some sort of contact with Maximilian or has heard the name in her circles as a traveling business person. You know he as well used to travel and do business, and you have contacts who know of him. It's extremely possible that Bingo, the watchman, has come because he's heard they need extra men to be security for the event, as most of the town's folk are planning on attending this because there's free booze at the reception. So everyone in town is planning on being there, and it looks rather extravagant. And as you approach the area where all the commotion is going on, you see carriages pull up, you see a man gets out of one and a woman gets out of the other, and they're very quickly ushered up into the Church of the God Emperor. And a few other people are allowed up in there with them, and everyone else seems to be making their way into the tavern to set up for the reception. And you see this man here, and I'm just going to ping his token. Those of you at home won't see him just yet. We'll be switching over to that. You will see this man seems to be the one doing a lot of the directing of traffic and is trying to get everyone ushered into the reception hall of the tavern, informing everyone that there is, in fact, free booze. You all make your way in and are set down at a table together, where you can begin to introduce yourselves a little bit to each other.
You're all a quiet bunch.
A barmaid comes over and offers you the first round. What will you all be drinking tonight, she says.
All of it.
Ale, please.
They start you out with a round of ales. Don't worry, I've been told that the ceremony will not take long. They should be back over soon and the festivities will begin. I take it none of you are from Swansea.
Been here before. This is a nice town.
I know a few of the folks here. Maximilian, actually, someone I've done a little bit of business. I don't know if he'd recall me. I dealt with one of his associates more often.
Oh, so you're aware of Maximilian Steiger?
Well, yes, I hear that he is quite elite status around here for this town.
Yes, him and the Rathkes both very influential. This is quite a big deal that this event is taking place here.
How fortunate for everyone here. Do you typically see this kind of business in your establishment?
No, not usually like this. They brought people in from all around. He's from nearby Vorberg.
Good to know. Perhaps I may find some business here for myself.
Yeah, so as you can see, I mean, they've gone to no expense with the place. There's entertainers. I hear there's even going to be, well, it's custom in these parts. There's going to be a foot race later. You should do your best to try to find a partner now.
A partner?
Yes, a partner.
Are you really good?
Oh, if you've never seen this, it's quite fantastic. There's a foot race around Swansea.
And what do you get if you win?
Well, you see, what happens is all the guys in town who wish to participate will find themselves a partner, and they will get them up on their shoulders, and they have to race around town carrying their mate on their shoulders. And those who win get a free room for the night. No questions asked.
Well, I like the sound of that.
No,
I'm not seeing much of halflings around here, am I?
no, it's Zweihander's very humanocentric world. Most people are human. Yes.
That's the assumption? Very well.
Now, I'm just going to tell you right now that Mollig over there, every time there's one of these weddings that goes on, Mollig always tries to get somebody to partner up with. She's very experienced in these races. When the time comes, you should perhaps see if Mollig would partner up. You'd improve your chances of winning, I believe.
I'd be up for that.
Now,
Can you make an
remember-
introduction for us?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll have her bring over your round of beers.
Thank you.
And she kind of saunters off over there, and you see her talk to Mollig, who's kind of a short. Hey, thank you, Liching Hour, for the bits. She's kind of a short, kind of a curvy woman who's got her apron on, and she's got her plate of trays, and her tray of mugs that she's kind of hoisting around, and she's walking over there and dropping them off. And you see everybody sitting in their seats, and there's a lot of talk going on, and a lot of people starting to really put down their drinks rather quickly, because the free booze will only last so long probably. But they're all trying to get theirs, and everyone's starting to have a good time. And there's their band up there playing. They got instruments out, and they're up there starting to play music, and everything seems like it's going pretty well. And eventually Molly makes her way over with your guys' round. Oh, I was told I was supposed to drop these off for you here. Here, hold on. Here's your ales. Enjoy your first rounds. Remember, the booze is on Maximilian Steiger. He is the man of the hour. It's his wedding day to young, poor Helena Rafke. And we wish the couple the best. And they are on the house. So do not hesitate to call me over if you need anything. Yes. So she passes out around and she looks over at Freddy, who is this mountain of a human. As you're not quite as big as the ogre, but she sees the two of you at the table and she's like, oh my, you both look like you could drink quite a bit.
Why, yes, but also I'm always looking for opportunity. I hear there's a foot race, and I'm looking for a partner. Would you perhaps be available to join me in this?
I do love the foot chases. They're so fun. The race around Swansea is a tradition we do here whenever two people get hitched. It's quite fun. It's a spectacle you really must see. When the time comes, I'd be honored to be your partner in the race.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'll have to see if I can get one of the other gals to cover my tables at the time. If there's still free booze to be handed out by then, of course. These receptions do go on for quite a while. And just look at the gentlemen over here at this table. Why, they're already boozing it up, getting ready for the race. This year, I plan to beat them. This year, we're going to win. So, whatever you do, don't get yourself too tired during the hunt for the bride. That'll happen first. So, make sure you save your legs and you don't hustle too hard down the streets looking for Helena, because you don't want to wear yourself out before the race, which takes place afterwards. I've got to go fetch some more rounds, but I'll make sure I come find you at the time right before the race, and we'll talk over our strategy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Make sure my friends here get plenty of the free drink. I will probably abstain a little bit so I can save myself, for this race. We shall see.
All right. I'll be back with another round here in a bit. Enjoy your drink. And you see she meanders back over to the bar where she's picking up more rounds, and she's carrying them all throughout the place. And it isn't, you get about halfway done with your first round when this gray-haired man with the glasses, with a really, really nice set of fine clothes, walks in, and he kind of has a walking cane. He kind of taps it on the floor, and he gets everyone's attention. He's like, it is my honor to announce the arrival of the man of the hour, Maximilian Steiger, and his beautiful bride, Helena Rafke Steiger. And he motions towards the door, and you see the happy couple make their way in, and they're, Max is this kind of a bigger, kind of, not so much muscular, just kind of a heftier guy. He comes walking in. He's got really fine clothes on. His hair is done. He's got these large kind of hot, ham chocolate beard where you can see his token there on the screen that I've made. But it's all very finely been brushed, and he's polished up, and his hair's slicked back, and he's looking about the best he's probably ever looked. And he comes walking in, and his bride on his arm, and she looks rather young and has long blonde hair there. She's got a little wreath of a vine of leafy ivy on, and a veil that's been pulled back, and she walks over and is seated down at a table next to a man who has a white mustache and a bald head and looks considerably older. You assume, based on seating and what is a regular custom at how these kind of venues go, that that would be her father that she's sitting next to. And she sat down there, and you see that Maximilian takes his seat there at the head table, and there's an empty seat there next to him that nobody is sitting in. and they bring out some food and they put them out. They start serving a round of food to everybody, and of course reminding everybody that they can continue to have another set of drinks. And it isn't long before you see Maximilian is up out of his seat and is going around table to table greeting all the guests, heading your direction, but he's got several tables to get to until he gets to you.
Wonder what business arrangements going on with that. Wonder who's getting rich.
Does the bride look like she's happy to get married, or...
Why don't you make our first roll of the game and make a... Let's see if it tells me. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just call this a standard scrutinized test. So look at the dot in the center of your sheet. There's a place there for difficulty. It should be set to standard if you haven't moved it, but make sure it is set at standard. And then go down your skills and attributes tab and you will find scrutinize, and you click that. There will be a confirmation screen that comes up. You hit OK, and then we will see our first roll of the game pop up there on the screen.
Give me 1 second. I just hit the lowest number, right? Like the 4.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Like I hit the... Like
no,
for this
no, hit the
no?
where the skill is the button. If you look at your sheet, I'll pull you up real fast to see what you're looking at.
Yeah, make sure you hit that the skills and attributes button.
Yeah, when you're on skills and attributes,
section.
when you go down where it says scrutinize, if you click the actual word scrutinize, it's the button. You don't need the 4 or whatever next to it is just a, that's it. Don't worry about what those numbers are. Just click the scrutinize button, and then a screen will pop up somewhere asking you to confirm.
Yeah, it's more like a bar than it is a button.
it's the bar. The actual name itself is the skill, and it'll do the roll for you. Are you seeing it?
Yeah.
There you
Did I
go.
do it right?
Yep. Okay. You rolled a 79. Your perception score is 42. You do not have any skills in scrutinize, so that means your target rating is 42. You rolled a 79. This is a roll under game. It's a D100, and you rolled over, so you failed. So you look up and you see her up there, and she doesn't seem too out of place at this point in time. There is another woman who is in a lesser looking dress standing there behind her, who's helping fix her veil and is doing other stuff, and so she seems to kind of be talking to her a little bit, and you don't notice anything out of place yet at this point.
Since I was talking about who I think was going to get richer between the two from this marriage, I'm gonna kind of eyeball Maximilian there and see if I can, if he's got that smirk like I'm winning, or if I'm losing in this.
You two can make a standard scrutinized test. These are, so again, make sure you're set to standard if you haven't been playing with the sheet at all, and find scrutinize. All right, so you do have a level of scrutinize. So your 52 perception and 10 scrutinize gives you 62. You rolled a 50. That is a success. So you look up and you see Maximilian has a businessman style grin on his face the entire time. He's at tables. He's mingling and talking. He's got big bear-like paw hands. I mean, he's kind of a big guy, you know. He's just patting people on the back as hard as he can and carrying on, and you know, he looks like he's really enjoying the occasion. Like he ain't got a care in the world right now. You can tell he seems relatively happy with this arrangement.
Sounds good.
So he makes his way over to your table, and eventually, and walks up there, and he, like I said, he slaps Freddy on the back and puts a hand on Vladimir's shoulder, and he says, "I can't thank you all enough for taking the time to come be here today. I see you've already enjoyed one round of the ale on me. I've purchased several kegs worth, so drink up, be merry, and enjoy the festivities. And I hope we get a chance to see you all, back in Vorberg sometime. You should definitely make your way down there. If you haven't stopped by the old Cowardly Orcs down there, you should. It's a great establishment, very much like this one. You'll find the booze there to be just as tasty as it is here. So I hope you make your way down there sometime. And in the meantime, here, let's get you. Your cups are starting to go dry. Let's get you another round." And he summons he waves over, and your bartender comes back over with another round and starts to set him down. She goes, "I'm sorry, Mr. Steiger. There's a lot of tables to bust. I meant to make it back over this way." And he just kind of pats her on the back and says, "Oh no, it's all right. It's all right. These are very esteemed guest friends of mine. Yes, friends have come from very far. Make sure they drink up." And then you see it.
Here.
Yeah, they run off, and he kind of makes his way, like I said, from the table back over towards another table, and you see that up there at the front, the guy with the gray hair, he's made his way over there, and he's talking to Helena's father, and it looks like he's leaning over and whispers something, and you don't even need a scrutinize roll. You can tell that the father is not thrilled at whatever it is that the man with the gray hair is saying to him.
Go for it.
Can Cork run over to see what's going on?
You want to kind of go over and see if you can eavesdrop and hear what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a little challenging. It's loud. There's music playing. You can try to get over close enough without it being obvious, but to do so, it's going to be a challenging eavesdrop. So set your difficulty to challenging and find the skill eavesdrop, just like you did with scrutinize. Okay, so this is interesting. You have rolled an 88. In Zweihander, anytime you roll a double, it's a critical. Whether it is a success or a failure depends on your current difficulty rating. So in this case, you had a 32% chance to succeed, and you rolled an 88, which is above. So not only is it a fail, it is a critical failure. So you try to ease your way over there as the man with the gray hair is busy talking with the father, and as they continue to sit there and they're kind of trying to whisper back and forth, but you can see the anger on the father's face, and then he kind of shoots a glance your direction, and you're like, "Oh no!" He notices I'm trying to listen in, and so you're going to suffer some peril. So we're gonna do a D10 plus 1 peril. That's 4. So this is gonna be our first chance to check for peril. Peril is mental and physical anguish. It is not damage, but it is kind of your mental health damage. Peril, as you gain levels of it, reduces your ability to use your skills. So if you look on your character sheet, on the talents and attributes page where you're at, there's a series of boxes there. And the first one is kind of a big box, and there's 3 smaller boxes out to the right of it. And what you will see, and I'm going to look at Cork just to verify, your first one says WB plus 3 is a 7. That is your base peril threshold. And then you'll see 13, 19, and 25 out there beside it. Whenever I inflict peril on you, I have to do more damage than the first number to do 1 level of peril. If I do enough to pass the second box, I do 2 levels of peril, 3, 4, so on. Those levels are then marked underneath. Everyone should have unhindered marked, because that is where you are, that you currently have no hindrance. And so I did not do enough to do a level to you, so you will stay unhindered at this point. But you notice that you got caught trying to eavesdrop. And you see that the father kind of looks at you, and you see the man with the gray hair and the glasses kind of shoots a look your direction, and then they kind of hush up about whatever it is they were discussing, and the father kind of shoos the man away for a moment, and then kind of stares you down a little bit with a stern look.
Just hide us under the table, ashamed.
So you kind of slink your way back to your table and your drink, and pretty soon, as you guys are sitting there, the man with the gray hair
chuckle, and I'm just like,
makes his way. The man with the gray hair makes his way over to the table. He says, I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. He goes, my name is Lutz Wasserträger. I have been hired by the father of the bride to oversee today's ceremonies, and I could not help but notice your interest. As you may have noticed, there is something that's gone slightly sideways, and we may need your help with. But first, go ahead and enjoy the festivities, but there may be some coin in it for you if you're looking to make a few extra coins during your travels and stays here.
Hey, Luch, coins is all great and everything, but if you got a story for me too, I'd love to hear it.
A story? Well, this is the event of the day right here, my friend. This is a very important wedding. Now, if you do not mind, I do have a festivity that I must oversee, but I'll be putting you in contact with the men who you may be able to be of assistance with here shortly. Now, excuse me, I have a bride to hide. And he makes his way back up there, and you see while everybody is kind of out not paying any attention, a couple members of the bride's family from one of the tables comes up, and they kind of quietly escort Helena out one of the side doors.
Rick's gonna follow them.
You gonna try to stealth to sneak up after him?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be a relatively, we'll just call it standard. A standard stealth check. Okay, you did quite well. So you sneak out the back, and you see them putting her in a carriage and taking off towards the east part of town. It rides off pretty quickly. You're not going to be able to keep up with it, but you see they put her in a carriage and take off east. You do get a good look at the carriage while you're there, though. And the man with the gray hair, he comes over there. He says, No cheating. Get back inside. You are quite the nosy one, aren't you?
Me? No,
Yes.
No way.
He kind of ushers you back into the building. It's a custom. The bride's family must hide her, and then everyone in town goes on a search to find her. And those who win, well, Maximilian has purchased an entire keg of ale that they'll be given if they are the ones who find the bride. So no cheating. Get back inside. He ushers you back in there. You guys get back in, and he's walking around, and there's another round of drinks are served, and you're hitting your third round of drinks at this point. So we gotta start. If everyone's gonna continue to drink, you're gonna have to start making some toughness checks for intoxication.
Freddie has been communicating with the barmaid, and has just been saying, I don't want to get too much in my cups. Give me a schnitt. And just kind of waves, sort of does this, so that when she brings Freddie his mug, it's actually not completely full, because he knows, being a businessman, there's a certain amount of drinking to be social, but not drinking too much so that he can still be able to have his wits about him when it comes to negotiations.
Well, we are at the point where you have to make a routine toughness test. Everyone who is continuing to drink, to see how intoxicated you are. If you've been taking it easy and not really drinking it much, we'll let you go an extra drink before you have to start checking.
Say, Pork was too busy just like running around trying to be like nosy to even drink, so she's been trying to pawn it off on everyone else.
Okay.
And Freddie was using the distraction of Cork going to eavesdrop and such. That's the time when Freddie was communicating with the barmaid.
So Bingo has a critical success. So we're not even going to worry. You're an old, savvy, experienced drinker, and this is.
I know exactly how much alcohol it takes to hit the exact.
You're doing just fine. You are pacing yourself. You have done these before. You're doing just fine. So.
I know how to drink all night and still go on a whole watch duty.
So, I didn't see anybody else talk. The rest of you are just taking it easy then. So the people at the table next to you, the others who are going to be contestants, they come over there and they start checking, and they're like, "Hey, you need to drink up more. We hear you're going to be in the race against us."
Do I look like I'm going to be in any race?
They're kind of looking over at Freddy. Like, "Oh, you're awfully big. But are you fast enough? Do you think you can keep up with us?"
Oh, I'm not sure. I have an old injury that might impact me, so gotta watch my drinking a little bit because of that. So I don't think it'll be much of a challenge for you.
Your camera looks frozen on my screen. Is it frozen to everyone else, or is it just me? She's frozen. You might want to just reset it real quick here. I'm going to move us over real fast to the Roll20 screen here, and I'll give everybody a look at the tokens.
Let me see. How do I reset it? Just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead and try that. So while you're resetting that real fast, again, this here is Lutz. And right here is Maximilian and his young bride Helena. And this here is Franz Rafke. And this is Mollig, the bartender, who's going to be in the race with you. And this is you haven't met her yet. That's BB. That's the maid of honor. And this is somebody else you guys will meet shortly. But so Maximilian continues to mingle and pushing the alcohol on the tables as best he can, trying to get those barkeeps really moving. Back to our live screen here.
It's a generous rich man.
So he is. You see as he's going around, he's shaking hands. Everything's looking good. The one thing you notice in it is that he doesn't seem to share really any glances with Helena. She just is she's gone now, but he completely just kind of ignored her the moment that they got into the room. And he's just up there, he's just mingling and socializing and just carrying on. And pretty soon you see Lutz comes back in and he kind of taps his cane again. He's like, "Hey, everyone," he goes, "There's an emergency. Oh, an emergency. Look, the bride has gone missing." And everyone stands up there like, "The bride has gone missing?" And they all, yes. And Maximilian goes, "Well, this is unfortunate. My bride has apparently already succumbed to her drink and has wandered off into town. Everyone, quickly to town. Go, find her, please. The first 2 returns with my beautiful bride. shall get this, and he puts his hand on the bar on this keg of ale. This keg of ale right here, I will take it from my stash that I have acquired for this event, and it will be all yours. And you see everybody gets up and they
like a keg of beer.
They all down what's left of their drinks, and they all set them down, and they all start to make their way out into the streets to go attempt to find Helena.
All right.
Pork kind of nudges Bingo and is like, I know what direction the bride is in.
Oh, really?
Bro, yeah.
Which direction?
I point in the direction that I saw her go in earlier.
Are you guys gonna take part and go look for Helena to try to win your keg of ale?
Yeah.
It's a keg of ale. Oh, duh.
All right. These things are optional. You don't have to. So I just. It sounds like Bingo and Cork are up for it. Freddie, are you gonna partake in the hunt for the bride?
I think Freddie might make a half-hearted effort at it because, he's wanting to make sure that he's kind of like following the traditions of the wedding. He doesn't want to seem like he's being a bit of a party pooper, but he's also not wanting to. He's kind of wanting to put more effort into the foot race.
So
he's going to just kind of yeah.
Okay.
So he may simply just kind of get up, walk out simply to stretch his legs, maybe taking it very slowly, because understand when he talked about his injury earlier, that was really just a bluff for the other contestants. He doesn't want to show his hand by going and running after the bride. Get where we're going with this?
I understand the Matt plan.
Yeah. So Freddie's just like, oh, but yeah, it's a journey. It took a lot out of me. I'll come out and observe and see. This looks like a lot of fun, but I think I need to take it easy and still feel some aches and pains from that journey in.
Now, since Cork did a little pre-investigation sneaking work, we're gonna bump your guys' difficulties from the standard that's set in the book, because Cork knows what the carriage looks like that they took her off in, so she can spot that if she finds it, and also what direction that it took off. So it gives you guys a bit of a head start compared to everybody else in town. So what you'll have to do, and I don't care which one of you wants to do the rolls, but we need 3 awareness checks. The first one is going to be made at standard, and then routine, and then easy.
All right. I am a perceptive guy, so probably, and I'm also trained in it, so.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and make your.
So the first one's going to be standard?
The first one's at standard.
Okay.
That is a success, so you're at 1 success.
Okay. And then the next one is at routine.
Correct. That is a success.
Then to easy.
Okay, you have 3 successes. You have completed all 3. I have to make 3 rolls. I got to do this 2 times for two other teams that are competing against you to see if they all succeed or not. So the first one, that is.
And so how was that? Malice, that you were able to do those 3 levels? Was it those 3 buttons on the right side of the awareness?
No, up on the very top, just under your your description and stuff like that, there are difficulty ratings as a bar across the top there.
Yep, and you click the
got
circle
it.
for the difficulty. Those the circles next to the skill rating is where I put your levels of skill when you purchase them. You guys are at basic tier, so you will never have more than 1 of those dots filled in, because you can't get a second dot till intermediate tier. So you'll either have 1 dot next to the skill, or you won't have it at all. So at least for the time that you guys are playing. So,
Got it.
based on the roles that I put for the other teams, they are nowhere close. Cork has been able to essentially kind of bloodhound this thing. It's like, nope, this is what the carriage looked like. This is the direction it went, and that just like an arrow, you guys are able to go there, and you find that you find the carriage parked outside of a barber surgeon shop. And the moment you spot that carriage, Cork, you're like, there it is. And Bingo is like, based on your description, is like, oh, that's got to be that carriage right there. And you guys take off that direction, and you are the first ones there. And you walk in, and there's a barber surgeon standing there, and he's got a leather strap and his utensils, and he's kind of sharpening up because, how can I be of service to you?
Yes, we're looking for a bride to Maximilian. Her name's Helena. I don't know if you've seen her.
Woman, blonde, young, attractive.
You see, he's
Very pretty.
He kind of looks the group of you over, and he goes, "Well, congratulations. You are the first to arrive. Could I bother you for a cut before you head back? You'll want to look your best when you receive your reward."
I just have one question. Is she here? Like, at all?
You can hear some muffled voices in the back. Oh yes, she's quite here. You'll be able to take her back and claim your prize.
All right. Well, thank you. But I only do my own shaving. It's very particular for this.
Well, if I can't convince you to get a haircut or a shave, then I'll go ahead and fetch Helena, and you'll be the talk of the town. Everyone will be your friend once you've acquired your keg of ale for the night. And they come bringing her out, and when she walks out, you didn't notice it so much when you were at the reception, but now that you're up closer to her, and you notice that she's obviously pregnant.
Oh my.
And her maid of honor is there with her, straightening out her dress and helping her, get everything all set up. And you can see that Helena doesn't look terribly thrilled at any of this. But she kind of walks up there, and she kind of plays her part, and she says, "Oh, thank you so much for finding me. I had wandered off to come down here and make sure that my hair looked proper for the reception. I suppose
Understood.
I suppose when I'm brought back, there will be a handsome reward that you will claim for me."
And I stick out an arm, like, so that she can loop her arm around mine, and I can...
As you do so, her maid of honor steps in front of her and hooks her arm around you and walks on out there. And Helena kind of trots on right behind, and she leans over. She goes, "My name is BB."
How you doing, BB?
Me and Helena, we've been best friends for so long, and it's her special day, and I'm doing everything I can to be there for her. Now let's all get back in the carriage and make our way back to the reception. You have a prize to claim, after all. I mean,
of course.
So you all are ushered back in and put into the carriage, and it makes its slow little procession back, and you see everybody else in town is starting to follow behind the cart, realizing that as they can see you guys in the carriage with Helena as they make their way through. You see everybody else starts cheering for you as they come on back through, and they get back there, and Lutz is waiting for you. And
as we're riding, though, I'm just I want to smile at Helena, and I just want to be like, well, I hope all three of you have a wonderful wedding. Kind of like reference towards the fact that I can notice that she's pregnant.
Yeah, she puts her hands on her stomach, and She says, thank you for the well wishes. We're hoping it's a boy.
I wish you
At
the
the belly.
best.
What?
Cork just stares at the belly and is like, baby. Baby.
Yeah. So she doesn't say too much more after that. She seems really kind of quiet and keeps to herself. But she does thank
I'm
you.
just kind of like watching her, looking for her any like emotional responses to anything. If BB says anything that like triggers any emotional responses, like does she seem sullen, melancholy? Like
BB seems to kind of be talking her up, like she's, oh, you look beautiful. You know the dress is covering it well. I bet most people won't even notice, and you know she's trying to talk her up as though Helena's a bit. She like again, you get the sense that she's not terribly thrilled with this. You get the sense that this is not exactly her decision.
right. I'm gonna lean into BB. I'm just go. Is it his?
She gets this kind of appalled look. Like, well, of course. That's such a.
Can I roll a
Such a-
scrutinize?
You want to scrutinize it?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we'll
Standard?
just call it standard. Yeah, that's.
Where'd that little pop-up go? There it is. As I just squeaked by.
A 59 out of your 62 is a success. As far as you can tell, BB believes that it is. You might be under the impression that BB may not know for sure. I mean, but she doesn't seem to be trying to deceive you at all. She seems rather appalled that you would ask such an upfront question, but being relative strangers to them. But
Of course. Well, thank you all for such a lovely night. Man, you only have so many of these wonderful, exciting nights and left in your life, but I'm glad that you're going to have such a wonderful rest of your life.
well, thank you for the kind words. She's a little distraught because she has to make the long trip to Vorberg tomorrow with her new husband, and traveling in this condition is difficult. So we just hope
Dangerous
everything
at the
else.
best of times.
We just hope everything goes smoothly for the rest of the night. So you guys get back to the reception, unless anyone else has anything they want to say to him. Everyone cheers as Helena makes her appearance first out of the carriage and is escorted there by Lutz back over to Maximilian, who kind of opens the door and lets his bride walk in, and with Lutz right there behind her to help usher her back over towards her father. And he sees the rest of you get out of the carriage, and he starts clapping, and everyone else kind of starts cheering for you. Oh, look here, our prize winners have returned. And Lutz kind of looks over at Cork and kind of sneers and mutters as he walks by. He goes, "Damn cheaters." And he walks
Cork-
back in with the bride, and everyone's just kind of cheering. And the three other people who were planning on being in the foot race come on over there, and they're like, "Now you make sure this big man right here gets plenty to drink." And they pat on Freddy's shoulder. "We want to make sure he's good and ready when the foot race comes around. That'll be starting up here shortly. Everyone's got to have at least one more good round. Hey, is the next round on you?" He's kind of looking over at Bingo.
Of course, we have a whole entire keg. I'm not going to drink it all.
So they get over there to your table, and you see Molly and a couple of the other bartenders are rolling the keg over, and they get it all hoisted up there. They set it up there on your table, and Maximilian comes over there, and he taps it, and they start pouring right there at your table, and they start filling up your guys' mugs for another round. And he says, yes, here, look, this was the finest ale I could purchase as a prize. I hope you enjoy it. Please, drink up.
Give it a sniff, give it a sip, and particularly good or bad is this ale in my
It's good.
long veteran experience?
It's good.
This is fantastic.
Freddie does the kind of like, takes it.
Sip.
He has his lips kind of pursed, so he's like
Make a
pretending like he's drinking, but he's really just kind of doing a little deceptive.
make a Freddie. Go ahead and make a. We'll call it a. Let's see if it tells me here. Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, we'll go ahead and make this a.
Is there something that's kind of like sleight of hand?
We're gonna call it a challenging
action?
awareness test.
Okay. So I'll click challenging at the top, and then hit my awareness. Correct.
Yeah.
A situational modifier.
None.
Leave it as.
You
none.
won't ever have a situational modifier. That's a critical fail. Okay, so you're too busy trying to hide that you're not drinking heavily to notice anything else at this point. You kind of at one point feel like they kind of pointing at you and kind of laughing a bit, and you start to feel a little like maybe they're onto you. So you're going to suffer some peril for your critical failure as well. So a D10 plus 1, that's a 7. So let's check your peril levels.
They seem perilous.
Okay, you take a level of peril because yours is 6. So you're going to move yourself from unhindered. You're going to click imperiled and just fill that dot in on the next level down. Yep. Okay, imperiled has no penalty. That is like your free level of peril that occurs before you start losing skill ranks. If you get any more peril, you're not going to have access to your skills that you have. You'll still roll just as a base attribute. You just won't have the skill ranks. So, which may come up here during the foot race. Pretty soon, Molly makes her way over. Says, "Whoa, you guys did a good job at finding the bride. You surely didn't wear yourself out. And the free carriage ride back probably saved your legs greatly. It's almost time. Now, I've been watching your competitors, and they've been drinking pretty heavily for quite some time. I think you've got a good chance at this. It's going to start here pretty soon. So I got the other gals to cover the table here, but with you guys having your own ale, I don't think that'll be much of a problem now. I should be able to get away, and we can enter the race. I hear Lutz is getting everything set up now, and then when the race is over, then, well, we'll see."
We'll see.
So Freddie's going to, if the race is about to start, he's going to pick up his beer and just make a point to look at the competitors in the eyes and just go ahead and down it, because he knows enough that he can drink this beer now. He'll be okay for at least an hour,
Yeah.
but then it'll
So
start to catch up on him.
they see you look their direction, and they kind of cheer at you, and they're like, "Freddie, yeah, we're ready to race,
There's-
Freddie. You're going down, you big oof."
Cork just stares right back at her. Just, like, I'm not afraid.
So pretty soon, you see the bartenders are making their way through, and they don't have their trays of drinks anymore. They have bags, like brown potato sack like bags, and you see that they're distributing turnips, handfuls of just putting turnips on the tables, and everyone's grabbing one, and they're all kind of like baseballs, kind of tossing them up and like catching them in their hands, and you see they're kind of looking at each other like
I'm not going to be in that race.
Quick question.
yeah.
How many turnips can I hold?
2.
Can I try to see if I can, like, fit more?
You hear one person over at another table say that they feel like they can get a really good grip on this one. So this race is going to be fantastic. And pretty soon, you see the gray-haired man.
Over, since I'm kind of keg master right now, and trying to be really friendly. I'm like kind of standing up on a chair, being a kind of eye level with people and filling up mugs and stuff like that. I'm gonna ask questions like, "What's with the turnips?" And then like, "Hey, so what are your opinions on the marriage?" And different things like that. I'm just gonna kind of try to see what information I can kind of glean off the crowd.
That's a rumor check. There's a skill called rumor under fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
So we will call that just a standard rumor.
Standard rumor?
Actually, make it routine. Everyone's drinking, so everyone's been drinking for a while now. So it'll get easier as the night goes to get people to talk about things that maybe they shouldn't.
They probably shouldn't talk about.
Yeah, so we'll call it routine at this point.
Booze.
Would you like to spend a fortune point to reroll it? This is our first chance. You got 4 fortune points on the table at the moment. One of them was stolen from you and given to me as a misfortune by chat. So you can thanks chat for taking away their fortune.
Thanks,
now, fortune points. You guys, there's always one per player and one for the GM as a total pool. They can be used by the entire party. It's a community pool of them. Every time you spend one, you can use it to re-roll a failed skill check as long as it's not critical. If you critically fail, you cannot re-roll a critical. But you can re-roll a fail to try to get a success. You can use it for an extra AP, which is an action point in combat, to buy an extra AP. We will get to that if a combat ever occurs. The other thing you can do with it is you can use it to maximize a damage die or a chaos die to check for injury in combat. So if you want to do all weapons do a d6, it's called a fury die. If you spend a fortune point, it becomes a 6, and then you get to roll it again to see. If you get a 6, it keeps re-rolling anyway, like regardless of fortune. But if you want to spend a fortune, you can make it a 6 if it was not already. So when we get around any combats or anything, those are your options for what you might use fortune for. Whenever you spend one, it becomes a misfortune point. Those are mine. Now I get to do the same thing with them. So chat was already kind enough to flip one to misfortune for 100 bits. And if anybody were to spend 100 bits, they could flip that misfortune back to fortune for you. So if I spend them, you get them back. If you spend them, I get them. In a standard Zweihander game, you guys get them, you spend them, then I get them, I spend them, and they go away. There's no more for the session. They refill every session. But the way I play them on stream to get chat involved is I let them purchase them back and forth as the money flows and as we each spend them. You guys
to increase the chaos.
Yes, to increase the chaos. So just so people who maybe are Zweihander fans who are coming here from the Zweihander Discord or anything else, if they're curious how this fortune system's working, it might be a little different than standard book, and that's how I run my stream games. So anyway, just now that we have that out of the way, would you like to spend one of those fortune to attempt to
like to spend one?
All right, so I'm going to click it off the thing here like so, and now we will go ahead and see what you get. Reroll that rumor. And you just got under. You just squeaked under with a success. So you start mingling around, and you hear that this is that this wedding is definitely a business arrangement between Franz Raffke and Maximilian Steger, and that you hear a rumor that both of them, Z Damon G, what are you doing with your 100 bits there, Z Damon? Are you flipping a fortune or a misfortune? You got to let me know which direction you want to flip one. You catch rumor that this is definitely an arranged marriage, and that there's definitely has a lot to do with an heir, trying to find an heir to their business.
Just plucking away our fortune.
Oh no!
All right, thank you, Z Damon. We'll click another one of them off of there. The chat is almost always in favor of the GM, so but don't worry, because I do use these in opportune times to make your guys' lives miserable. So you'll get them back when I spend them.
You'll get them back.
You'll get them back. Don't worry. So you find out this is most certainly an arranged marriage, and And then a part of the business deal, from your understanding, is that Maximilian needs an heir to take over his business.
Fair enough.
As you continue to mingle around, everyone starts to make their way outside.
What was the also was there an answer to the, because it should be a pretty obvious one? What's with the turnips?
Oh yeah, they tell you. They say, it's customary during the foot race when the lucky couples are running, the crowd pelts them with turnips as they run by.
So it's like running the gauntlet.
Yeah. It's great fun. If you hit them just right, you can knock them down. So you get your turnips, and everybody's making their way outside, and they're all warming up their throwing arms, and you see a few people, because that's what drunks do. They're already throwing them at each other. A few people are like just messing around. They go pick their turnip back up, and you see the other people are paired up with their partners, and they got them up on their shoulders, and they're getting over there towards the start line. We're gonna flip screens here real quick because we're
gonna lean over to Freddy and be like, yeah.
All right, so what I've done is I've moved you over here. As you line up, Molly comes and finds you, and she's like, "Are you ready to race?" Before you even get done, she's got one hand up on your shoulder, a foot in the back of your knee, kind of makes you have to stand down. And she just scurries like right up your back, up onto the shoulders, and she just grabs hold of your hair with both hands, like clinging on for dear life. All right, so you've got Mollig there with you. So she's up there on your back, and you're not hearing their voices since you moved screens. Hold on. You should be. Hold on, let me try this again. Audio capture.
Hello?
That's ours.
Hello.
All right, try speaking again.
Hello.
Greetings, you vibes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. You should be able to now. There we are. We're all good. So,
Good.
You guys are lining up, and she just scales right up you, very uncomfortably gets up on your shoulders and grabs your hair and begins to give you commands. Says, "Get over there to the starting line. We want to get an inside course on this. Hurry up." And she's kind of almost using your hair like reins to move you as she bossily starts to command you over there to the start line.
Woman, I figure it's not your first time at this, but let me do a little driving one, okay? Let's keep this together.
So she makes her way over there, and the other contestants there are all lined up, and this chase scene is a mechanic in Zweihander. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go round by round, and I'm not gonna at the beginning of every Zweihander session you're supposed to roll initiative. We're not worrying about initiative. Probably won't come up tonight, so this would have been the only time we might have used initiative. But we're gonna do sets of rolls for the three of those teams, and then you will do your roll, and we will see. What we have to do is we have to keep tabs of your number, your pursuit number. So what I need you to do is just keep the pursuit number in the red circle on your token. So if you click on your token, you'll see 3 circles pops up. So just keep your running total each round, and each round after you roll, just move yourself to what round we're in. This is a 6-round long chase for the duration of this race. And
so as an example right now, we haven't started, so
everyone's a 0 right now, yes.
Okay.
So what you're going to do is, in a chase scene in Zweihander, you roll a d10, and then you add your movement score, which is on the second page of your character sheet under talents and trappings, you will see a movement score.
Okay, on the second page of my sheet, talents and trappings, and my movement score is movement score. Is that in the? Let's see. Is it the top of this movement score? Where it has the 3 plus AB, it has a 5, correct?
Say what?
My movement score is the 5 that's
Yes.
in the 3 plus AB.
Yep, that's correct. So you will add a D10 plus 5 when you roll.
Okay, for each time, for each of the
round, yes.
each round. Okay, got it. All right.
Your movement is 6. No one has a head start. You are not intoxicated, so you do not have the -1 to your pursuit value for the first round.
Great.
Okay. I'll just check on here real quick.
What it was a 5, right? Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the first round. I am going to go ahead and roll my 3d10s for my 3 competitors, and I will be adding 6 to my numbers, each of them. So I have that one's got a complication. I got a 2, a 1, and a 7. So that is a 10. The 1 is going to be a 9, and he's going to have a complication. And the third one is a 7, plus 6 is a 13. Okay, so go ahead and do a d10 plus your movement.
Okay, so I'm going to do 1d10 plus 5.
Correct.
11.
Okay, so put an 11 in there and move over to round 1.
Okay, and I'm putting the 11 in the green spot. Oh, no.
It doesn't matter which dot it's in, as long as it's somewhere where we can check what the total is after 6 rounds.
Okay. Oops. All right.
All right. Who looks like they might be in the lead?
So currently, we'll move you out there to round 1. So currently, it looks like are you winning right now? Actually, no. Okay. So contestant number 3 is currently got a little bit of a head start, and when this starts to happen, when Molly sees that you're not, that you're currently not winning, she starts to scream obscenities in your ear. You big club-footed oof! Get up there! Catch him now! She starts pulling on your hair really hard and trying to urge you forward, and you have to make a toughness check at routine resolve, or suffer more peril.
All right, so I'm going to do a toughness, and you said at routine.
Correct.
Okay, toughness at routine.
Oh, critical fail. Oh, you're going to take 2d10 plus 2 peril for a critical fail. Oh, that's only a 9. That's enough for another level. So that will put you from imperil down to -1 skill rank. So you currently, at this level of peril, you do not have access to your skill ranks. So they will not be calculated into your target difficulties, because each skill rank adds a 10 to the difficulty that you have to roll under. So losing that skill rank means that you're now just rolling on the base attribute whenever you make rolls. And you can't, unfortunately, spend a fortune out of a critical fail. So she's got you by the hair. She's pulling you left and right. She is just clubbing the side of your head with her thighs and kicking you in the chest with her legs, trying to get you to go faster. And and everyone's just chuckling and laughing. And people are starting to hurl turnips, and it hits contestant number 2, and he drops his person, so he has to stop and get her back up on the shoulders. So he's way behind, and we're gonna go ahead and go to our next round of rolls.
I'm gonna throw a turnip at Freddy's driver.
Okay. Just make a simple ranged attack roll.
Okay. Simple ranged.
Yeah, and just leave it at standard.
Standard?
Yeah.
I'm totally going to miss this. This is not a good look for me.
Yeah,
Whiff.
so you throw one and it whiffs. But, it's... Everyone's just kind of hooting and hollering and having a good time, and your original barkeep is standing there really close to you, and she leans over to you, and she goes, "Malik does this every time. This is why she never wins." so she's out there, she's chucking a turnip over her direction too. He goes, "Go, Molly, go!" And she's throwing her turnip over there at him too as they run by. So because of your peril, you're gonna have a -1 to your movement as Molly continues to cause you all manner of complications as you're trying to run in this foot race. So we're going to go ahead and do another set of D10s for round 2. So here's my 3D10s. Oh, man.
And I'm going to do a 1D10, but instead of +5, I do +4.
Yes,
And
just
I
add
take
4 to your
-1.
results. So I'm adding... The first one is a 13, so that moves into 23. Second one is going to be... Oh man, that third one got a... Damn.
I don't have to make any movement since I'm on Pingo's shoulders, right?
Oh no, I collapse if you try to climb on me, because I'm literally the little old man halfling.
She's a
You
gnome.
try to climb on me, I'm just...
She's a gnome. She's not very big either.
Oh, she is a gnome. Yeah,
She could ride up on your shoulders without too much trouble, yeah.
Like...
So,
I'm just chilling, just alright, you got this, bud. You got
where's
this.
your score is currently a... Oh,
We're now the height of one person.
go ahead and make your D10 +4 roll there, Freddie.
Yeah, so I had a question for you.
Okay.
Since I've taken -1 for movement, then I should roll a 1D10 +4 instead of my +5, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. I hadn't heard what that response was. Okay, 8.
All right, so that your total was 11 the first time, so you're up to 19.
Okay, and I'll get that in there. Put the 19 in there, and then move it up.
Yep, we're
So
all at
19. So now at round 2.
at round 2, and now you're heavily in last place, and this does not make Molly any happier with you.
Freddie says, "Molly, no wonder you're still working in the tavern, and you're single, aren't you? You gotta let the man have a little bit of control."
You see,
Woman.
she takes a turnip out of her pocket and she wings it over at one of the other competitors, missing. But she hurls it over there at one of them. She's like, "Get me closer! I'll take one of them out."
So
We're gonna
Freddie
go to
kind
another.
of shimmies over just a little bit, like he's kind of bending, Yeah.
Yeah. So she kind of starts running up that way, and we'll go ahead and do another round of rolls. Oh man, number 3 is killing it. He's almost max every time. So that's another.
Can I get my movement back up to 5, or does it stay?
Yeah,
at 4?
you're back up for this round.
Damn. All right. So 26 is where we are now.
You're at
Molly?
26.
Malik, we gotta do better than this. You got any more turnips in your pocket?
So you're still heavily in last place after about halfway point through this race. As you guys are running around corners, and there's a little route that's kind of picked up. There's people there kind of pointing and directing which direction to go as you're kind of trying to run. What's your BB score it's in the big box next to your brawn.
Let me check on that real quick. Sound skills and attributes.
Yep.
Okay, let me see. Brawn.
Looks like a 5 in the big box next to the 53 there.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
There. See that?
Yeah.
Yep, it's a 5. So
yes, I see.
you're still doing fine. You're not wearing out yet.
Okay, good.
So we are going to go ahead. At this point, your contestant number 3 is just smoking the rest of the competition. He is way ahead. Someone's going to have to do something to take out the first one. So at this point,
Try to wing another turnip.
everyone
This time
on this round has to
charge.
make everyone has to make coordination checks. Each of the competitors have to make a coordination check in order to avoid the complication of being hit by the crowd throwing turnips. So
Is it standard or routine?
I'll give you a second. Let me look and make sure I know. The foot race. Yep. It's a routine coordination test.
Okay.
Oh.
Everyone has to make it.
Oh, one made it. That one
The
failed. That one failed.
Contestants.
Yep. You failed your coordination roll. Would you like to use a fortune to re-roll it?
Yes. We'll use a fortune to re-roll it.
All right. So let me find my... Okay.
I think that leaves us with one remaining fortune.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. And I'll get it changed when we get back to the live screen. I forgot it's only on the live screen that I have them marked.
Okay.
Success!
Success. Okay, so you do not lose another point to your pursuit value. So you're
Great.
going to be still at your 5. These 2 and 3 each got pelted pretty good with turnips. So they're actually going to be reducing. They're only going to add a 5 instead of a 6 to their scores when they come running this time around. So we'll do another set of rolls. Oh, man.
Dang.
Oh, look at these guys. They're killing it. That's 10, 16, puts them at a 50.
Well, Freddie's better at bargaining and negotiation than he is at competition.
Yeah, for sure. So at this point, the contestant number 2 is actually starting to catch contestant number 1. So they're taking off running, and the team out there in the front is just got the worst of it when it came to getting pelted by the turnips, because everyone always throws at the people winning, of course. So they're running past the crowd, and the crowd's all eager to throw their turnips. So the people in the front are getting hit the hardest, it looks like. Those of you in the back are having a little easier time now, and you're catching up. And Mollig is continuing to yell at you after you seem to be slowing down a little bit. And she is not thrilled with this at all. We'll make another round of rolls. After this round, I got to start making toughness checks for them because they have sprinted past their BB. So we'll see if they start suffering any for doing so.
Freddie's going to say, how many of those turnips you got there in your pocket, woman? Takes it and takes a big old bite for some extra just sort of
all right, so you
carb loading right there.
You take a bite out of one of the turnips. You're supposed to throw it at them, she says. And you see that the other contestants are they got a bag there with their turnips. They're taking them out and they're chucking them at each other as well. You guys are behind, so no one's throwing them at you at the moment. So, although everyone's getting a good laugh at Molly.
He takes the bite, and then he just kind of tosses it and rolls it at the feet of the the contestant who's closest to him.
Okay.
So, to try to trip him up.
Okay, yeah, you got to chuck it up there in front of you, try to get out in front of them. So go ahead and make a. We'll call that a challenging, simple ranged test.
Okay, so
The Georgie has officially left.
Uh-oh. Georgie's gone. We'll have to just stay on this screen for now.
okay, so you said a challenging.
Did he say anything?
He had an emergency.
Oh. Okay. Well, good luck, Georgie. We'll finish this session up. We'll just do it from this screen here. So.
Yeah. So you said challenging. Which? Simple ranged.
Yep. Simple ranged.
Challenging. Simple ranged.
Oh, critical failure. Oh.
Crud.
You trip and fall and send Molly scurrying to the ground. She just tumbles. And she picks up and she walks back over there. And you're laying there on the ground, kind of skinned up a little bit. We're going to give you another D10 plus 1. That's a 9. Peril. So you are taking another rank of peril at this point. You're now down 2 skill ranks if you had a second skill, but you don't. So it's basically the same as it was before. It's just going to take you longer to recover from the peril.
It says unconscious, but it doesn't really mean like you just kind of just lose motivation, like you're just give up, screw this, and walk away. Or...
At incapacitated, you can no longer make skill tests. All you can do is you just shut down, and you effectively you're so out of it that you can't function as a person at that point.
Wow.
So through intoxication, fear, stress, you eventually just go kind of catatonic. You can still move. You just can't make anything. You can't do anything that would warrant a skill test. So
fair enough.
You just go sit down and just shut down and be like, forget this. Like if you're in combat, you'll just run for your life. You can still take movement actions, you just run for your life.
So am I able to roll for this round?
You're out of the race at this point. You trip, you fall, you send Molly scurrying. There's not that much of a race left. At this point, you can't catch back up. Group 3 goes on to win, and they start cheering, and everyone kind of slowly makes their way back to the tavern. And a couple of them come over there and they help you up, and they kind of dust you off. They're like, "Yeah, it was a good show, Trevor. Let's get you another round of ale." And everyone starts to head back in, and there's turnips just everywhere in the streets. And
yeah.
You guys make your way back. Yeah, you can pick a few up if you want them, but they're broken. A lot of them, they were thrown pretty hard. They hit walls of businesses and everything, and they're just on the ground, busted up. And everyone kind of makes their way back in, and everyone goes back to drinking. And you see the winning couple. They go up there to the bar, and they get a key, and they saunter up off the stairs up to a room, and everyone kind of cheering at them as they go on up, and everybody goes back to their drinks, and Maximilian is up there having a conversation with the father, Franz Raffke, and it seems like maybe it's a little heated. And you see there's another man now standing up there with Maximilian, and he does not look to be in wedding attire. He's wearing leather armor, has a mortuary sword hanging at his side. You, as a watchman, Bingo, know that this guy is a sellsword. You can, just by the looks of him, you can tell he's got a certain sort of a physique and cut to him. Like he's got sort of a insignia badge on that kind of gives you an idea that he's kind of maybe like a captain of a unit. You've seen this before. He's got a tattoo on one arm that's showing, and you can make a warfare check at routine if you want.
All right. My character sheet gun. Where'd you go? It got hidden. Warfare.
Yeah. It's under willpower, I think. Could be wrong. I think it's willpower. Might be under intellect. It's about that part of the sheet somewhere.
Intellect.
It's under intellect.
Sure. Why not? What difficulty?
Routine.
Routine.
Okay. So here's how this works. I was going to explain this to you, and one of the reasons I picked Warfare for this check. Warfare, you see, has an asterisk next to it. So that's a trained-only skill. You can attempt a trained-only skill if you do not have a dot in it, but you're considered flip to fail. So flip to fail means we have to read your roll both directions and make sure it's under the target, reading both directions. So a 10 flipped is a 1. And so you succeed because you are under your score of 56 in both directions on your die. So you are flip to fail, but you still succeeded. If it had been a 16, for instance, a 61 would be greater than 56. You would have failed, even with a roll of 16. That's flip to fail. So you recognize, because of your time as a watchman and dealing with enough mercenaries, you recognize the tattoo on the side of that man's arm as one that is the equivalent of like a United States Marine Corps sort of tattoo that, you see the people get. Like, it's definitely one where this man is not only a sellsword now, but at some point in time he served in an actual military style unit, and you would recognize that as very much the kind of, you don't know what the unit's name is or anything, but just from the looks of it, you can tell this guy served.
This guy probably knows his shit.
Yeah. He's up there and he's not saying anything, but he's standing behind Maximilian, and you see that Franz Raffke's really giving Maximilian kind of the. He seems like he's pretty angry.
I elbowed him.
What's going on?
Cork's going to sneak up there again and try eavesdrop again. So this is going to be a little easier roll. This is going to be a relatively easy eavesdrop roll because things are getting kind of heated up there.
Sorry, what roll was that again? Like,
we're gonna make it a
eavesdrop.
Yeah, we're gonna make it eavesdrop. Thank you, Crazy Ike, for doing moderating work and getting rid of that spam. Keeping the chat
Spammity spam.
All right, that's not a success. So you get up there and you try to eavesdrop, and you can't tell what they're talking about, but what you do pick up is that something's missing. You don't know what, but Maximilian looks like he's trying to smooth things out, and he's puts his hand on that man's shoulder, and he's patting him on the shoulder, and the guy's just standing there kind of looking kind of stern, but he's kind of nodding his head like he's, and you see he turns and walks out. The military man turns, the sellsword turns and walks out one of the back entrances, the same one they took the bride out of earlier.
Can I follow him?
Yeah, you can.
I also follow out.
Okay, you guys follow him out, and he walks outside, and you see there's a few others in very similar armor to his standing there, and he starts barking orders at him.
I straighten up my armor, try to look a little bit more soldierly, and kind of stroll up and go, "Is there anything I can help you out with? I got sharp eyes. I can see anything."
You must be the one Maximilian had spoke of. He said there was
possibly
a group that did a fantastic job of finding his lost bride earlier.
That would be me.
Spotted the winning keg of ale at your table, so I assumed it must be you. Your timing is impeccable. My name's Andre Kessler.
Well met. So, where'd you serve?
Oh, I did time at the 32nd over the you know there's currently a confrontation going on in a county, well, not a county, but like a country to the east.
Country.
Yeah.
Now, would I know Andre Kessler?
You would not know Andre Kessler, most likely. He doesn't have really any fame or anything. He's just a former grunt who had served did a tour of duty. So
I heard stories. I heard guys went through some.
Well, the fighting got pretty tense at times, but I was glad when my tour ended and I've been able to come back here and find, most of the time, safer work. Picked up me and my crew here working for Maximilian, doing some security detail for his wedding and for the ride home. But we're short a few. We could use a few extra hands if you're available.
Definitely am. Is what I'm good at. Keep my eye out, making sure that we don't run into any ambushes, or if you need something found.
Well, there was supposed to be a delivery, and it doesn't seem to have arrived yet.
Oh, that's no good.
It's all right. We're sure I have some of my best men on the detail bringing it from Vorberg. It was supposedly left this morning. It's getting too dark. We can't risk venturing out this late at night, so I'm assuming the wagons must have had a breakdown. But we're trying to smooth everything out, and we just want to ensure the father of the bride that everything will be delivered first thing in the morning. So in the morning, me, Maximilian, Helena, we're all going to load up the carriages, take the happy couple back to Vorberg, and we'll find out what's going on there in the morning. But just in case there's been bandits or anything on the road, I could use a few extra hands to come along. A few extra sets of eyes to keep lookout, and if any of you happen to be handy with a weapon, should there be any fighting occur. I'm sure Maximilian would set aside a few extra coin for your services.
You're gonna get paid? I'll help you out. And I know a couple other buddies inside that'll put in the work.
Well, I don't know if there'll be any room for your reward keg, assuming that everyone else hasn't already drank it dry by the time you get out of here tonight. But make sure
I'm
you're
hoping
here.
it'll be gone.
Make sure you're here first thing in the morning. We'll get everyone saddled up, ready to go. You'll have to talk over your commission with Maximilian himself.
Yes, sir.
He barks a few orders to the other guys to get everything prepped ready, and he kind of goes about doing his own thing.
Look at Cork. So, looks like we can make a little money.
Yeah.
Especially since I couldn't get a chance to sell that keg.
Yeah.
And Freddie says, yeah, let's go have a little talk. I think Maximilian would be a bit amicable to a little negotiation, as I've helped him be a bit prosperous with some of his transactions in the past.
So
Sounds good.
you guys make your way back inside, and you see that Maximilian is still up there trying to talk down Franz. And at this point, BB has taken Helena away from the two of them, and she's got her over there on the side, and she's kind of helping her rebrush her hair out and helping make sure she stays looking good, and she kind of has this distraught look on her face, the maid of honor does, as she's trying to keep the bride out of earshot of whatever is going on over in the corner.
I'm gonna slip up to BB real quick and just be like, everything going all right?
Oh, they're just unfortunately having to talk business, and I really, really do try to keep Helena away from the business end of the deal. I'm sure
Freddie,
they'll smooth things out. It'll be okay.
Freddie's going to just stride purposely up to Maximilian and Franz and just step up and say, many apologies, gentlemen. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm wonder perhaps if my companions and I can be of service. We hear that you may have a need, and Maximilian, you may recall I've done some business for you before, and we'd love to have a dialogue, perhaps. If it's a bad time, we can come back.
And you see Franz kind of looks over at you and says, "Who is this man, and why is he interfering with our business, Maximilian? What sort of con are you trying to pull on us?" And Maximilian kind of tries to calm down. No. This is extra help that I've hired to oversee things that are going on. Andre's men were spread too thin, and so I bought them. They're good with wagon repairs, and they're good for these sorts of things. And we'll be dispatching first thing in the morning. And I promise you that your bridal token will be here. We'll get this all smoothed out. Just enjoy the rest of the festivities. Let me get you another drink. But it doesn't look like Franz is having any of it. So that's going to bring us to our first case of social intrigue. Social intrigue is a system in Zweihander where we get to make a few rolls and see whether or not you can have any effect on the temperament of the NPCs in question. So on the screen, you each have a token, and there's a tactic listed. These are the only skills on your sheet that can be used in social intrigue. So kind of on an above the table level, you can all discuss amongst yourselves what things you're good at and figure out which tactic each of you would like to try to use. And then you will make the appropriate skill roll, and if you succeed, I have a handy dandy chart here that I get to look at. Currently, Maximilian Steiger is listed as polite, and Franz Raffke is listed as impolite towards you guys as characters at this point in time. So move your token into whichever one of those skill rings there you would like to do, and then you will tell me what it is you're going to try to use, how you're going to use that skill to try to persuade the situation to either talk them down, talk it up, whatever it is you would like to do.
Okay. I'm pretty decent with rumors. That's probably going to be my best thing I can bring to this list. How about everybody else?
And you do not have to participate. You can just sit out and be like, I'm no good at any of this. Like, you can just sit out if you want. I mean, it's up to you.
I can either bargain or lead.
Okay, so you have either leadership or bargain?
Mm-hmm.
And this would be based on that would be based on the skills that we selected for ourselves, right?
Yeah. Your attribute rating and 10 if you have a skill in it. So.
Got it. Okay, so I would definitely, as a cheap jack, go with bargain.
Yeah, because you not only bargain, but you get to re-roll your bargain. If it's not a good roll, you can re-roll it and take the second result if you don't like the first one. As a cheap jack, that's your special trait.
Right. Yeah, because I don't have.
So you should probably do.
I don't have leadership. Yeah.
So that'll put Cork on leadership then. Okay, so what sort of bargain are you going to try to make with the NPCs? Are you going to try to broker a deal between them? What kind of deal do you want to? How are you going to use bargain to affect this scene?
Yeah, I definitely would want to do something to broker a deal between the two of them, because it's not going to benefit us if they can't come to be able to compromise. It could go either way. You know what I'm saying? Is we could wind up making Maximilian happy, make some money, but then Franz isn't happy with this. Well, then it's still not going to,
Okay,
yeah.
Cork, you're doing leadership. How are you going to use leadership to affect the scene?
I don't know, actually.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and move over to Malice real quick. Malice, you're going to use rumor. So,
all right. The first thing I want to do is see if I can once again try to access the voices of the drunk and see if anyone has heard of any particular bandit action that's currently going on along that route, or if there is anything that seems to be that would be a particular threat that might be more than just a wagon attack.
Okay.
Or if the what's the father's name?
Franz?
Franz, yes. Franz is, see if Franz has any reputation for kind of backbiting or backstealing, like, like where he might have set something up on his own.
Okay. And have you thought of anything leadership-wise that Cork might do to try to influence the situation?
Can I just try and lead them to an option of how they could broker it?
You want to put forth a plan, perhaps?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to come up with a plan of what you're going to do to take care of the situation. Bingo's going to be trying to find rumors about any bandit action, and Freddy's going to try to convince them to strike some sort of deal to resolve the issue now. So we're going to go ahead and start with the bargain check. So Freddy, you are currently balanced aligned because none of you guys have a dot in chaos or order rank yet because it's game session 1, so you're currently balanced aligned. These people are both law aligned, so it's going to be a 0 for the difficulty. Social class, these guys are both in the burger class. So you are, I believe, a lowborn?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So as a lowborn, they are a different social class than you. So that is going to be a -10. So that's going to make this a challenging. That's going to make this a challenging bargain test for you.
And what about reputation based on past actions? Interaction with Maximilian?
You don't have a reputation bonus yet.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
So set it to challenging.
Okay, so now for this, I should be on my talents.
Yeah. You should be on skills and attributes, find bargain.
Okay.
And up there, the difficulty, make sure it's set to challenging.
Okay, difficulty is challenging. And bargain. What is it? You said it should be on bargain should be under skills and attributes or under rewards?
It's a skill, so it should be under skills and attributes.
Okay, let's
should be under fellowship. Most of these are down under fellowship, down at the bottom.
Down at the bottom. Okay, that's wait. Oh, there we go. So bargain.
Yep.
So I have one dot. Clicked.
Yeah.
Got it. And just click on bargain then.
Click on bargain, confirm, and we'll see what you get. Now you're still pretty periled, so you're not going to actually have the bonus for that skill rank, but you will get to roll it twice. If you don't like the first result, you'll get to re-roll. So find that confirm box when it pops up. Every roll in this sheet has a confirm box that you have to click through. Critical fail.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
So luckily you're itchy,
It's a good time to re-roll.
You get to roll again. So we're just going to pretend you don't want that 88. Because even though it's a critical fail, this is the one time you do get to re-roll a critical fail, is if you have a trait that lets you roll twice.
Right.
Okay, that's still a fail. So you're trying to convince Maximilian to give Franz something as collateral to hold on to in the meantime, and Maximilian's like, absolutely not. My people are taking care of this, and it's just not really necessarily going real well on the bargain part. Let's move down to leadership. So Cork, you kind of put out your plan. You're like, listen, we'll go in the morning. We're going to join up with Andre and the men. We'll get this all taken care of. You'll have this thing by lunchtime. No big deal. And go ahead, and you are a lowborn as well, right, with Cork?
Mm-hmm.
So it is going to be...
everyone in this party is.
It's going to be challenging also for you. So challenging leadership test. Oh, that's also a fail. So he doesn't want to hear about your plans for tomorrow, anything else. It was supposed to be here today. I could have given my daughter's hand to any number of businessmen, and how'd I end up in a business deal with some two-faced backstabbing swindler like you, Maximilian Steiger? And he's clearly angry, and he's got his finger, and he's kind of pointing, like thumping Maximilian into the chest with his fingers. He's yelling these obscenities at him, and he's getting louder as he goes, and his speech is slurred from imbibing some of the ale himself. That leaves us with rumor. So this is you're the last hope for him. You're kind of listening around, trying to gather up if there's any rumors about bandits or anything else that might make this better. So it's going to be a challenge.
Let's see if I can Princess Leia this.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, you're our only hope. Alright. And we're doing challenging? Is that the deal?
Yeah, it's challenging because of your difference in social class. You just don't.
Right?
You just don't know how to properly word things to people of that high. Oh, a critical fail.
I believe this would be the time to use our last fortune. What do people think?
You can't.
Should I do it?
You can't fortune over
Nope.
critical.
All right, it's a critical, right? Yep.
But whenever you
Womp
critically
womp.
fail, you do take a D10 plus 1 peril.
Yay!
10.
Oh
So-
yeah, gotta roll that on top of it. Thanks.
So that's a 10
Love
peril.
ya.
Well, it
Yeah.
looks like we're going to hang out in this tavern and just finish off this ale, aren't we?
Yeah. So now I am.
Franz just basically pushes the party kind of out of the way. He just kind of, get these miscreants out of here. I don't know what sort of people you have working for you, Steiger, but this is why things never go right. This is why Vorberg is the mess that it is. I should have never let my daughter marry you. He kind of marches off, and Lutz is kind of, running off there behind him as they both kind of storm off, and you see Maximilian's kind of standing there, and he's kind of fixing himself back up again and wiping the sweat from his brow a little bit, and he looks at you and he goes, I appreciate your efforts. I do. Andre and his men are spread thin, and I am a little more than concerned that something's happened to the bridal token.
I assume it was substantial.
3 wagons of my finest hemp were to be delivered here by Andre's men. They were supposed to have arrived hours ago, but Andre's been keeping a dutiful watch out of the gate, and it never arrived. I'm gonna assume that there's been some holdup in Vorberg. Perhaps they've had a wagon mishap or something on the way here. It's only a day's travel, but I'd find some coin to pay you all if you'd come with us in the morning.
Freddie.
Will do.
And Freddie says, we've had business before, I'm a pretty straight up fellow. I've got some misgivings about that man there. Seems a little odd that something of yours went missing. Never mind. But, yeah.
Well, you don't think Franz would hijack his own bridal token, do you?
Oh,
Business, ain't it?
He kind of strokes his chin a little as you're saying this.
As everyone is talking, I just try to follow Franz to see where he's going.
Oh, he makes his way back over and grabs himself another drink and sits back down at another table over there further away, and him and Lutz are sitting there, and he's pounding on the table, and he's giving Lutz orders, and you see Lutz is quickly like, yes, sir, yes. Sorry, sir, I'll get on those mercenaries right away and make sure that everything is handled and taken care of. We'll keep watch out. He's like, I want men with lanterns combing the streets tonight. Yes, we'll get people out there tonight. Yes, we'll have them go ahead of the other group, perhaps. Yes, maybe. And he's just like, trying to calm Franz down. He's like, you gotta make a scene. You don't want to make a scene, sir.
Can I try to gain favor of Franz?
At this point, no. Because of the fails and critical fails and the social intrigue, he is not going to want anything to do with your group at all at this point. So, if those rolls have gone better, yeah. So, Maximilian encourages you to go ahead and go to bed and get a good night's rest, because they're going to be leaving bright and early in the morning. You're going to need to sober up.
Do we get any of our peril back from sleeping?
Yes. If you sleep in a place that's safe, you restore back all of your peril when you sleep. If
Good.
you sleep somewhere that's
feeling.
If
Freddy
you
really needs a good safe place right now.
if you sleep somewhere that's not safe, if you're in the wilderness or you're somewhere where you might get attacked by wolves or whatever, if there's a place where there's some danger involved and you try to sleep, you only go back to imperiled, unless you have a special trait. There are some people who have like rural sensibility. Some professions have a talent, rural sensibility, where they can go back if they're in a wilderness setting, regardless if there's danger or not. They're used to it. So there's a couple of those talents that if you happen to have that talent, you would go back to imperil, or you would go back to unhindered, no matter the danger level. But you guys, I don't think any of you have those. So you will. But you're in a town, a city. It's safe here. You will go all the way back to unhindered after a good night's rest.
Freddy just wants to make sure whatever room he sleeps in has a good lock, so Molly doesn't come in and try to, take revenge on him in the middle of the night.
Oh, she's back to bartending because the festivities are still going on. But everywhere she goes, at every table, you overhear her like just running you down. Oh, he's tall, he got broad shoulders, but he's not strong at all. He runs knock-kneed, and he just running your good name down as much as she can, and that's why she lost, and it's not her fault at all. And the next wedding, she'll find a better contestant. And
is it possible using rumor to spread rumor?
Yes. That you're adept at spreading rumors is how that skill works. Hearing them and spreading them. So
I would like to spend my last few rounds using the opportunity of chit-chatting with people at the tapping out this keg and just being really friendly with everybody and really kind of putting a lot of bad word into anything that she has to say.
Okay. This is going to be easy because Molly is a pretty well-known local personality, and most of the people around here kind of know Molly a little bit. And because you're giving them really, really good free ale, they will gladly hear whatever you have to say. So this is going to be an easy rumor test.
Nice. All right. So we're going to go easy, and we'll go to a rumor. And then we will roll. Hit confirm. And then we will...
You made it.
Squeak
on by, but it's still a success. So you get them out there, and everyone's like kind of pointing and laughing a bit at Molly. And when she sees that everyone's kind of pointing and laughing at her a bit, then she kind of quits running her mouth a bit about Freddy so much.
Mission accomplished.
You all eventually make your way back to your rooms and call it a night. The festivities wind down, and everyone makes it to their quarters, calls it, lanterns out. You guys get a good night's sleep. You all wake up in the morning feeling maybe a little worse for wear.
Freddy's a bit scraped up, but he actually realizes it was probably better that he didn't win, because he realizes he would have had to wake up probably next to Molly, because they would have wound up in that room together, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
At the prize?
Yeah.
Crud.
Yeah, you get to do it.
Freddie just-
Molly's whole goal in this whole thing is to find somebody to bed down and marry, so that's her. So she always picks the biggest guy she can find, and then when they don't win, she gets angry at him and yells at him a bunch.
A little
She makes
upset.
it super hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
she makes it super hard. So
And here, Freddie was just hoping that he'd have a free room tonight where he didn't have to share it with ignoring travel companions from his last caravan. Ooh. Oh, that was a narrow escape.
all right.
Yeah, you don't want to be associated with that woman. She's
Freddie,
bad apple.
oh,
Or bad parent in this town.
So you guys wake up the next morning and you come downstairs, and there's crews working on cleaning up the place from last night. But there's a table set up there with them, and you see Andre Kessler and his men are there scarfing down breakfast. And there's a second table set up there with a few plates, and Maximilian Steiger standing there. He goes, "Oh, good, you're up. Come quickly here. Have a seat. Eat up. I've purchased breakfast for you all." He sits down there at the table and
Yes.
begins to eat a bit himself. He goes, "Now, we do have a last bit of negotiations. We have not yet discussed pay for your services to help escort me and my bride to Vorberg. Now, Andre made it clear that you volunteered. I appreciate that. But I did offer to pay you, so I thought perhaps a sum of 1 silver shilling would be more than gracious enough to have you escort me and my bride to Vorberg. And if everything goes
Look
well,
at Freddie and go,
Uh,
this is where you get off us.
well, no disrespect, we realize that you're celebrating your wedding here, but you probably dropped quite a pretty penny, and I don't mean penny, a bit of silver on the reception wedding. We've got some first class support here with our with our crew, with court care. You can definitely find things that you need in a snap, and
so
yeah.
So, if you want, you can attempt a routine bargain check, which you'll get to roll twice.
Okay.
Now I'm out there, like, kind of looking how a guy would sit on a shotgun when I'm doing it with a crossbow. I'm just here. Let's do this.
All right, you success.
Boom.
You don't want to re-roll, most likely, so we'll just go with the success. So you're, what's your FB on Freddy? Your fellowship bonus.
Let me check on that. That was under talents, correct?
No, your FB is
No.
on your skills and attributes page.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm looking at it for you. So that's the number in the box next to the skill. So you got a 2 for fellowship. You're a 34.
Oh, under down to the
Yeah,
bottom.
you see how you're a 34? The box there and the number, that's the bonus number.
Oh, the 2. Got
The
it.
2. So according to the book, you get 2 times 3 extra brass pennies included for everyone's pay.
Whoops.
So
Okay.
he's
2 times
willing
3
to
extra brass pennies.
he's willing to give y'all 1 silver and 6 brass pennies each for helping out, because Freddie does a little wheeling and dealing to get you a little better pay than what he was offering. It's already a pretty good deal. It does sound like it might be dangerous, so it's not out of the question to try to get a little more out of him. But he's fine. He goes, "This wedding's gonna take every penny I have," and he goes back to working on getting everything done. And Andre, he kind of walks over there, and Maximilian hands him a coin purse and issues out what he says each of you are owed upon arrival at Vorberg. And Andre kind of nods, looks at you and says, "All right." He goes, it's only about a day's travel to Vorberg, so we're getting a good early start. if any of you are capable, you can ride up front with the scout troop with me, or if there's any of you who are good at with maps or anything, would like to serve as a guide, you can ride up there with the coachman. Or if any of you want to hang in the back a bit, work up on some stuff to eat along the way. Anything you can do to offer service there would be greatly appreciated. So, what this does is brings us to overland travel in Zweihander. And in Zweihander, there are 3 roles that you need to occupy to do overland travel. The first is the guide. They will roll navigation. The second is the scout, will roll stealth. And the third is a survivalist. And the survivalist is in charge of breaking camp, making sure all the accommodations and everything are made for food, that sort of stuff for the journey along the way.
There's navigation. The other one was stealth. Last is survival.
If you pick scout, you will have a little opportunity to talk with Andre Kessler. If you pick survivalist, you will have opportunity to speak with Maximilian. And if you pick guide, where you're up there with the coach, you will be able to talk with Helena and BB.
Okay. I'm not sure I am good at any of this.
So
and would one of these in particular be good for someone who has, say, like a crossbow to be protective?
If combat breaks out, combat breaks out. Like, that's not something that...
Okay.
Yeah. If you have a crossbow and you're like, I want to do survivalist because I want to be on top of the carriage, I mean, it would put you in a good spot to be in if you guys were ambushed, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Cork is good at stealth, correct?
I mean, I don't have running red dots for it, but...
If your base score is good, stealth is not an asterisk, so anyone can attempt stealth. So
yeah,
you just need to know what your scores are to see what you're good at or not good at.
Oh, so that would be like if your perception is higher.
Yeah. Like if you're whatever your base score is, if you have a good base score, you don't have to have a skill if you have a good base score. So.
Got it.
So my agility is 40 for that. So.
Yep. Which one would be
40.
good?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, is brawn something that would be of benefit in any of these roles?
Well, if you look at brawn, there's athletics, drive, intimidate, and toughness. None of those are used in overland travel. So
it's literally the 3 skills.
It's literally those 3 skills
survival
on your sheet. Yeah. So
got it. Okay.
Like navigation is under intellect. Survivalist is under perception.
Well, I think I'm going to do guide.
Okay. So go ahead and move your token over there to guide. You're the little... You got it. Anyone going to do scout or survivalist?
Actually, I could do... My perception's really good. I could do survivalist as well. I have a 52 perception. I don't have survival trained, but does anybody else?
I have scrutinize, and I have perception of 42. And I have willpower of 49 tradecraft.
Okay.
But I don't think that would be useful for a survivalist.
Yeah,
So.
it's just the survival skills. So maybe I'll go to survivalist because that's probably going to be my best base. Navigation. Do you have a good intelligence? What's your intelligence score?
My intelligence is 43.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you could probably just go
For which one?
Navigation.
For navigation, which is guide, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Unfortunately, I don't think any of us have it trained, so it's going to be flip to fail anyway. So
For navigation.
yeah.
And is that what?
I'll check Georgie's sheet. We'll see if Vladimir has it by chance. I don't think he does, but he might.
What is Court probably going to select then? So it's okay if I do guide. Court, are you going to try to do scout?
Yeah, I can do scout.
Okay, so Cork, move yourself onto scout.
What if I don't wanna?
Yeah, you got to do something, or it says in the book they mock and make fun of you.
Paid.
They mock and make fun of you for being completely worthless if you don't fill in one of the roles.
Where's the scout situated though?
Out up front. The scouting party goes up front and looks for danger. So Andre, as the head of the mercenary group, he goes with the scouts up front. So that's why, like I said, if you go up there, you'll get a chance to kind of speak with him during this leg of the journey. If you're back in the coach with Maximilian and Helena and them, those are who you're basically seated with. During times when you have to break for people to relieve themselves or to eat lunch, like Maximilian will be doing the survivalist job along with whoever's doing survival, so you'll get a chance to kind of have him where you can talk to him a bit. And that leaves Helena and BB and the coach most of the time with whoever's the guide up there with the coachman. So
okay.
That's kind of the breakdown of kind of who you get to kind of have your conversations with or learn some stuff from along the way, on top of the skills you have to make to see how the trip goes. All right, so let's go ahead and start with our scout roll. We're going to do scout first. So I need the I got them in the wrong order in the book. Yeah, there's almost no danger here, so there's very little risk of danger on this trip. So the scout roll is going to be a rather easy one. So it's going to be an easy stealth check for the scout.
Nice. Kabam.
Everything's good. It's all safe. Gets attacked by bear.
Yeah, you and Andre are up there riding and looking, and you don't come across anything. You don't see any signs of bandits. You don't see anything there's no wandering traveling salesman or anything along the road that's suspicious. It's a clear day. You see no troubles up ahead. Let's go ahead and do our roll for our guide for navigation. It's a relatively short journey. There's only a few places where maybe it could go wrong, so this is going to be a rather routine navigation check for whoever is doing navigation. Can set yourself to routine. We'll make it a little better on you. That's critical success. So
Nice.
For a critical success, you easily can navigate, use the maps. The maps are pretty easily drawn. You have no problems following them. The coachman is really, really pleased with how well you've done. Speaks rather highly of your map reading skills, and you guys make a really good time getting on the road and moving. And that brings us to our survivalist when you do have to break for lunch.
All right. To survive.
All right, everyone does a good job with their rolls. So the trip goes as planned. There are no hitches. There's no problems. You do a good job making a simple heating up stew kind of lunch for everyone to stop and enjoy. And during these times while your guys are out, you have a chance to talk with your respective NPCs. So we'll go ahead and start with the guide. You're hanging out with the coachman, who's a quiet man who doesn't say much, but you also have opportunity while they're setting up lunches and everything else to get a chance to talk a bit with Helena and Barbara, BB. So,
Peril.
Got it. Okay. So Freddie's going to just casually bring up the mention of the token. In regards to, seemed a bit odd that their bride token went missing. I mean, you made it safely.
Helena's eyes get real big. She's been real quiet and hadn't said much the whole trip. For those of you who've been around the carriage, and BB really hadn't said too much either in the presence of Maximilian. But once he gets out and goes to help make lunch and get stuff set up and go find a tree to pee on, she and you say this to her, Helena's eyes like get real big, and she looks over at BB and she goes, "Wait, does it mean this whole thing is off? If the token didn't arrive," and BB's like, "No, we're sure everything's going to be okay. Nobody really understands how these sorts of things work, but it's a business arrangement deal, and it'll be all right. Those are things you need to worry about in your condition. You should just focus on the kid, and you're going to be a mother soon." And she's kind of trying to talk her down, but you see Helena kind of gets this look of like confusion, like she had no idea that it had gone missing.
And so Freddie says, don't worry your pretty head about it. I just, I've done dealings with Maximilian before, and he's a man of his word. I just seemed a little, I don't know your father very well. I've not done business with him before.
Oh, father can be a very stern man. Thank you, Fishy. But, and you see BB just kind of trying to calm her down after the mention of the missing bridal token. Jeez. I'm sure it wasn't anything nefarious. I'm sure it just had a breakdown. We'll probably come up upon it soon. Then maybe we can help fix it and it'll be on its way.
Yeah, that seems always a possibility. I've done much of these transactions, and from time to time, there are technical little difficulties can happen with these wagons. All right. Well, thank you for input again. Didn't need to worry you. I can see you're in got that might have a little bit of emotional things going on at the moment. Don't want to cause you any difficulty. So he kind of steps away, saunters off.
Now, Cork has had a fair amount of time riding up there with Andre Kessler. And do you want to strike up any conversation with him at all, or are you just going to ride along quietly? Cork?
Sorry.
It's fine.
I'm so dumb. Can I see if he thinks anything's out of the ordinary with the bridal thing?
Well, he kind of says to you, he goes, "Now make sure you keep a keen eye out for a wagon. Heinrich Truman was supposed to bring the bridal token here, and I don't much care for the man, but Maximilian trusts him. He's a longtime friend of Maximilian's. Me and my men have only recently come under Maximilian's employ, but in the few run-ins I had with the man, frankly, he's a bit of an asshole. But Maximilian says he's trustworthy, so I suppose there's no reason not to believe Maximilian, but I don't know, this whole thing seems rather fishy to me."
I was gonna say, how trustworthy does he seem? Should I trust him too, or?
Well, he's been straightforward and honest with us so far as pay and what the jobs are. He hasn't tried to pull any quick ones over on us, but as I've worked with him a little more and more, I hear he does have a bit of a reputation.
kind of reputation would that be?
Oh, there's been a lot of people who've had some bad business dealings with Maximilian over the years.
What's the relationship like between him and his bride? Like,
Well, I think it's pretty clear that it's not a marriage of love.
obviously.
Clearly arranged between Franz Raffke and Maximilian Steiger. That part's pretty obvious. The fact that we're looking for 3 carts of Maximilian's hemp from his hemp fields tells us exactly to what degree this wedding is more of a business deal than it is a venture of love. And of course, there's the child involved. It's very much part of the deal as well. If the child happens to be male, it'd become an heir to both Raffke and Steiger's businesses. So the child would be set for the rest of its life if both business ventures don't go south.
And if it were to be born a female?
Well, they don't like to. They don't talk too much about that. They're all hoping for a male at this point, but a female, of course, Maximilian would probably raise it to marrying age, and much like his young bride Helena, he'd find some businessman probably to sell her off to. Seems to be the way of things. I'm not really from these regions. Where I come from, those weddings were a little different. Arrangements were a little different, but I try not to judge too harshly. I get paid. He pays well. Everyone in Vorberg speaks very highly of Maximilian, so it's the people from other towns that we've dealt with on our trips that seem to run afoul of business with him.
Does Helena seem happy at all?
You're in the scout group up ahead, so but nothing you've seen of her thus far implies that she's thrilled about any of this.
Alright.
They're mostly just staying really quiet, and if she talks, it's mostly just to BB, her friend.
Alright.
So Bingo is hanging out with Maximilian. Now, you guys are in the carriage, and the carriage ride for most of the day is, like I said, a pretty quiet one. Maximilian is not one to really talk business in front of his bride, and as I said, Helena and BB do not do a whole lot of conversing in front of Maximilian either. So it's a pretty quiet, eerily quiet ride for a newlywed couple on their way to their new home. But when things break down for camp and you get out to help make stew or whatever, like I said, Maximilian's gonna oversee that, and you're over there helping him, and it does give you a chance to maybe talk with him a bit more.
I just kind of strike up some conversation about business. Basically, like, so it looks like you definitely seem to earn a lot of profit for this arrangement, things like that. Where I'm just gonna put on you, basically, just kind of like be positive about the situation, and just be like, yeah, like business decision, and things like that.
This'll all be fine. I mean, it's my trusted bailiff Heinrich Truman. He'll be here with it shortly. I'm sure he had some hold up with his son or something that probably delayed them from getting out as early as they wanted, and they didn't want to be on the road with that much hemp, I'm sure, that late in the evening. So I'm sure we'll meet him on the road at some point today, and he'll have a good explanation. This will all be fine. And this whole business arrangement with Franz, he gets hot-headed like this sometimes. You just have to let him be him. He'll calm down after his drink wears off.
I ask you, so do you have a plan B, as it were, just in case bandits are involved or anything like that?
Well, I have trust in Andre and his men, and paying you all handsomely enough to track down and take care of any bandits should we come across it. It's three large carts of hemp. They're not easy to just disappear even in one night. So I'm sure wherever they've wandered off with it, if anything like that has happened, it'll be easy to track down. After all, you guys did a fantastic job of finding my bride, and they could have hid her anywhere in Swansea. You found her in no time, so I have faith that if we come across any sign of banditry, that you'll track them down with just the same ease. If you want, you can make a scrutinized test at standard.
Sounds good. Scrutinize. That's standard? Am I set? No. Oh.
All right.
Success.
You get the sense when you're talking to Maximilian that he's talking a pretty good game, but low key he's a little concerned.
He's got the everything's fine drip of sweat.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not terribly convincing to you that that everything's okay, but he's definitely saying that, and he does take some time to go back over and just check on Helena and make sure everything's fine and that she's doing good and that she doesn't have any problems with the kid or anything, and he's giving instructions to the coachman and everything else, and he comes back over there to help finish up. Everyone eats, has a good time, they're at lunch. The scout group comes back. Everyone's there. You all get a chance to eat. Everything goes well with your guys' journey based on your roles. And you begin the afternoon stroll. And he goes, we should make it to Vorberg easily by sunset. Done a fantastic job up there with the map work, Freddy. You're natural at reading them. So we can...
take straight road. 2 other towns.
Yeah. It doesn't really give like a local area map. So the map in the book has a picture of Vorberg and like the surrounding area, and there's just one road that just says to Swansea. So I don't know how many other. As far as I can tell, it could be like literally the only town, from here to there. But they make it sound like you do have to make a roll, so you must have to make a few turns somewhere. So you guys are all back at. You guys are all back at your post, riding along where you were for the rest of the day. You get almost all the way to Vorberg. And as you get close, it starts to turn to rolling hills. It's been relatively kind of flat up to this point. But you make your way up to some rolling hills. It's not too long before dusk at this point. And... Cork, you and Andre, because you're up in the scout group, you'll be the first ones to see this, but you come up around a corner where now that we're getting into the hilly area, the road has to kind of wind between hills, and you come around a hillside there and up and around, and up in front you see a cart, 3 carts, as a matter of fact. The carts have been not fully destroyed, but the wheels have been broken on them. There's horses are laying over on their sides, and there's bodies strewn all about the road.
Yeah,
Andre takes a look at it, and he sees it and goes, "We better report back and tell Maximilian. I don't know if there's trouble here, but we'll want everyone together before we approach it." So you guys turn around, and the scout group, you and the couple mercs that are up there with you, all start to head back towards the caravan, and everybody back there riding along with the carriage. Freddy, you're the next one to notice. You see the scout group coming back kind of in a hurry. Their horses are galloping pretty good as they come back, and Maximilian kind of leans his head out the window and kind of looks over at Bingo, and he pulls the curtains on the carriage closed. Says, hold on a second. Let's stop the carriage. I want to talk to Andre for a second. He gets out and starts to walk up there towards Andre and them as the whole group kind of reconvenes just up in front of the carriage, and Freddy can hop down from the coachman's box and walk up there as well.
Can you scrutinize, just try to like watch how the tension plays out between those two, of like see if all of a sudden like he starts getting really worried or anything like that.
As he gets out, he has a look of concern, but he's kind of also maybe a little hopeful that there's an answer. It's Andre that you notice has the look of real concern as he's riding back on his horse about as quick as he can make it go, and Cork slowly there behind him. He kind of comes riding up there and he goes, "Sir," he goes, "3 wagons up ahead. Horses are dead. A couple of bodies, my men. It's we didn't approach, but I think it'd be wise perhaps to go in as a group in case there's bandits or anything of the sort. We'll get up there and with a full group of us take a look around. We'll have the coachman draw the curtains as to not to disturb the ladies."
Look at Andre. In my time, I've done some crazy stuff, but not a big fan anymore of just walking in the middle of things. Wouldn't it be better if we took the unit, swung around the backside, came from the side, so that we, just in case there's some trouble, if that's an ambush, clear that ridge.
Maximilian's like, whoa! You're gonna take all the able-bodied, armed sellswords and just leave the carriage unprotected?
We could take a small band.
Him and Andre kind of look at each other a bit concerned. Well, I understand tactically what you're wanting to do, but I'm concerned that we don't know what we're dealing with.
Well, that's why I wanted to put eyes on it and see if we could figure out what we're dealing with before we engage. But I feel that if we walk right in the middle, it's just going to be what we're dealing with, as opposed to knowing and coming in with a plan. I mean, I'm not in charge. I just put down my two bits.
All right, fine. We'll do it your way. Who's gonna go?
I'll go.
That's
All
the
right.
park.
Me and you will take the gnome and that big guy there.
The mountain. Ready? Point
Look
the
like you can handle yourself. We'll leave the ogre back here. It's big and kind of brutish. Leave him back here with the carriage and the coachman and my other 2 men, and then we'll go up there and we'll go around this hill and come in from the other side and see what we can find out. Then we'll report back here to the carriage.
Sounds good.
All right then. So go ahead and hop off your horses here. Take these. We'll head around that way. And you guys all.
Yeah. I'll make sure I gear up and get pretty prepped. Got my bolts ready to rock and roll.
All right. So you guys go ahead and make your way up and around and slowly approach the scene where, again, you find as you get closer, just make sure I'm reading this correctly. Yeah. So you guys make your way around from the other side, and as you approach, you come up to what looks like the remnants of a battle. It looks like there was maybe some sort of scuffle that had taken place. You can see that the couple of downed guards and the horses have all been peppered with arrows.
Is there anything odd? Is there anything odd about those arrows?
Well, we'll get that in a second. Upon
Okay.
coming up to the scene, unless you have the talent indifference.
What I want to do first is from a scene that there's arrows shot into them, from that vantage point, kind of look to where would be a good place to rain down arrows. Being a skilled archer myself, I would have a reasonable grasp of kind of where to place the troops to do that.
You're kind of on a hill, the other side of the road. Up at this point, you're starting to get into forested area. There's woods a short distance from the road on the other side, and you would say easily within an arrow's flight of the edge of the road. And you would suspect that, based on the way that the horses look like they're laid out, that the arrow fire would not have come from the hill you're on, but from the opposite side, probably from the wooded area, if you had to guess. But you all, upon getting closer, have to make a routine resolve check. Unless you have indifference as a talent. The Watchman might be the only one who might have it, but I don't think so.
Don't think so now. My talents are what?
You do not have it.
Nope.
You have Arbalest Speed,
Eagle Eye,
and Light Sleeper.
Light Sleeper. I don't think that was available on my list.
Nope, it's not available to you. But since none of you have indifference, you're all in for just a routine resolve check.
Just another battle.
Yep. You're good. See how Freddy and Cork do.
Sorry, what rule was that again?
Routine resolve.
Resolves under willpower.
Yep. You're good, and Freddy's good. Freddy's good, and so is Cork. Everybody's good.
Okay.
So nobody suffers any peril from stress. So you get up there, and it's clearly tense. You're all
I'm
carefully.
basically gonna be like, and I kind of do a military hand sign to like up on that ridge is probably where the attack came from.
Well, from what you can tell, let's see what it says here real quick. Okay, so yeah, from what you can tell by just looking around, you can tell that the arrows, they're crudely made with viciously barbed iron heads. You can find a few that miss their marks and are just laying there on the ground. You can kind of take a look at one. Most of the people that are here have been shot to death. That part, it was obvious. There's very, very... In fact, I don't know if you see any actual crude slash marks on anybody. They've all been pretty much shot to death. They've only been partially stripped of weapons and armor, and money and valuables have been largely left behind. There are no other corpses other than those of the guards. Andre will confirm that they are in fact his men. As you see, he takes like a moment of kind of grits his teeth a little, and, as he rolls over one of the bodies, and He looks around, though, and Andre starts to look, and he goes, I don't see Heinrich anywhere.
Who's Heinrich?
The officer that
Heinrich
was...
Truman, the bailiff. He was supposed to be
yes.
here with the carriages. He goes, what's even more strange is look, you guys notice that all the bales of hemp are still in the wagons. He looks at it, he goes, it's a little hard to tell, he goes, but I think it's all still here.
Freddie would like to. I'd like to roll a scrutinize for Freddie to look a little closer at the wagon and these bodies.
Scrutinize is, I think, for like emotions. You would be looking for like an awareness, maybe.
The last bit of info that Andre kind of reveals is he goes, we're not that far from Vorberg, and they would have left at first dawn to try to have made it to Swansea in one day, just like we're doing. So
It needs to happen in the middle of the day.
This happened in broad daylight. Whoever did this, they weren't hiding using the cover of night.
I hold up one of the arrows. I'm like, who makes arrows like these around here?
Can I roll a folklore check?
You can use tradecraft.
Tradecraft, okay.
You have to use tradecraft to determine the make of the arrow.
And at what difficulty?
Challenging. Hold on. If you had tradecraft, or if you're from a military career, which none of you are necessarily military. Watchman's kind of close, but not exactly. That's more city guard than.
I did select tradecraft as one of my skills.
Okay. If you have tradecraft, it says if you have a tradecraft focus of weaponsmithing. If you have tradecraft, I'll let you make the roll instead of using scrutinize. You can make a standard tradecraft, or otherwise it's a challenging scrutinize test to know about the make of this.
Okay. It'd be more likely to be tradecraft. It's something that I may have come across in.
Yes.
Bam.
All right. So by holding this arrow up and taking a good look at it, you can confirm that this arrow looks as like you've never seen one, but you've heard of tales of mutants. Those who have given into chaos and been warped, twisted. And from what you've seen, this is definitely not an arrow that has been made in any civilized sort of land. It's very crude. It's like very tarry, like it's been like it has tar kind of on it, and the nasty feathers have been hooked to it, as part of the bolt. And it's just got this very, very dark black sort of sheen to it from where it's been very crudely made, with a kind of a stone head to it and a kind of a gnarly looking arrow, indicative of what you've heard mutants that they would use. If you would like, if anyone has folklore, they could attempt to make a folklore check at challenging, which everyone technically can do.
I have folklore.
As do I.
So.
Cork, why don't you roll folklore then, if you have that as skill?
All right.
Good job.
All right. While you're not from here, while you were mingling around, you had heard rumors that and stories that this area had been plagued by. They'd been plagued by mutant attacks before. Before the wars in the neighboring country kind of took most of the news. Like, several. This would have been quite a while back, but you know that this area has seen mutants before. If you want, you can make a routine survival check or an easy handle animal test.
I'll make a survival check.
All right. So you're you do a little snooping around there at the site, and you realize that it looks as though the attackers that came they came out of those woods over there, and you can kind of see where grass and everything has been knocked down, where they left in a hurry. It looks as though they came roughly from the direction of the village and returned the same way. So you're pretty sure you can see the path they took into the woods, and that they were headed roughly towards the same direction as Vorberg, but they came out of the woods on that side for sure. After kind of digging around a little bit, you guys can see that it looks like maybe there had been some that came up over the same hill that you did, but it looks like as though everybody left, because you do find some arrows in the other sides of the carts, but it looks like everyone came up and looks like they all left. Like I said, you don't find any hand weapons laying around. It's all these dark black arrows, gnarly looking arrows is all that you find. And the last thing that you do eventually come across is when you get close enough to really examine the horses, you'll notice that most of them, the couple of horses on each of the carts, have bear traps. It looks like they had been set in the road that they came up to.
Ouch.
So it looks like that's what they used to hobble the horses to stop the carts. At this point, you realize there's leaves all over the road and all over the ground. And, Andre, who's down looking at a horse who notices this, kind of yells quickly at everybody to not move.
Ah, okay.
Trapped.
Everybody quickly just back up to the hill. Don't be careful with the leaves. There may be more bear traps sitting here on the road.
All right. So, so what are your thoughts on this hundred fellow?
Everybody kind of backs up and gets off the road. Well, definitely looks like mutant attack. Done a fair amount of time traveling with my war units. I've seen a lot of standard issue flight arrows in my time. But this is, these definitely were not made as a part of any standard war unit. These are very much a woodsman's arrow, if you will. The heads are barbed, not the kind you'd use on prey. You'd want to clean or kill. These were made to be just as hard to take out as they are going in. So these are weapons for slaughter. They're not weapons for hunting.
That's why I was curious of your opinions on Heinrich, because it's starting to smell suspiciously like a setup.
Well, I don't know. His body isn't here. He didn't take any of the hemp. He didn't take any of the valuables off my men. All of them still have their signet rings. Whoever did this didn't take anything.
Mutants into sowing chaos.
Potentially.
Possible.
I mean, potentially, but I don't know. What I do know for certain is we could be watched right now. We need to get back to the carriage. We'll speak not a word of it in front of the ladies. We'll just tell them there was a dead deer carcass and make sure that the blinds are pulled tight so they don't see this, and we'll see if we can get around this and try to clear this area, make sure there's no more bear traps, and get everyone through here as safely as we can, and we'll have to make haste to Vorberg.
And then what do you think should be done with this shipment that was supposed to be as far as it getting to its destination?
Well, the horses have been hobbled and dead, and the cart's wheels broken on one, so it'd take some time to come back out here and repair it. And whoever's done this, until they've been found and dealt with, I'm not sure it's safe. I'm afraid that Franz may have to wait a little longer to get his dowry. But we'll be able to get enough able-bodied men and the rest of Andre's unit come back out here perhaps and do repairs to the wagon once we get back into Vorberg. But first we need to get inside the town walls where it's safe. Then we'll figure out what to do next. Let's go back and speak with Maximilian, and we'll see.
Sounds good
I'll
to
be
me.
right back. I gotta go use the washroom.
Okay, we're gonna be wrapping here in just a second, so
All right.
you guys all make your way back to the carriage, and Andre reports into Maximilian, and you see immediately he has this very stern look of concern, and Maximilian walks over to the carriage and says, "Ladies, we're sorry for the delay, but my dear, we're gonna pull the curtains closed, and there's been an animal carcass here along the road. It's rather unsightly, and it's not appropriate for you to see. We don't want to disturb you any more than we have today. This ride's been rough enough, and everyone else just get on the carriages. We're going to go past it as quickly as we can. So everybody just hold on." And you see he climbs back in, and everybody gets back to their places, and they mush the horses, and Andre rides up there in the front, out in front of him a little bit, looking rather nervous as his horse has to tromp through some of the leaves. But you guys don't find any excess bear traps, and as you're rolling through, you need. There's one more roll I'm pretty sure you gotta make here. Yep. Oh yeah, as you come up over the last hill, you can see off in the distance a rather large mountain up in the distance a little ways. And it doesn't become mostly clear until you get really close to Vorberg, which you're now finally at once you're past the kind of the wreckage site. You can see it's all forested up on the north side of the road from this point on. There's a lot of forest. And you can see the walls of Vorberg up ahead, and you see this sort of a mountain that kind of towers up past Vorberg, and the top of it doesn't have any forest. It's kind of just stone up at the top, and it looks like they call it the Horned Monk, and
Okay.
Maximilian will point it out once you guys are past, and like I said, moving rather rapidly towards Vorberg, he kind of points it out. So that's That there is our local mountain, the Horned Monk. They call it that because of its kind of dome-shaped top with the two spires that kind of stick up there, and with the tree line the way it is. Some of the early settlers in Vorberg thought it looked a bit like a monk with a set of horns.
Foreboding name.
So we get into Vorberg, we'll have to tell everyone in town, that the carts were. That you know what? Let's just see when we get to town what there is to learn, and we'll have to see what we're gonna have to tell people then. But I think at this point, the last thing we want to do is ruffle up any feathers or get any rumors of any mutant attacks. So at this point, let's just keep it to bandit talk for now.
I'm also concerned. It seemed like the tracks were going towards town.
I have that concern as well. But based on what Andre told me, and I trust Heinrich, I don't think it could be anyone in town. They'd have nowhere to take the stuff. They can't bring it back.
They didn't seem to take it anywhere.
Well,
they set it up as an ambush. It was a trap.
Perhaps. But if there was a trap set for us, they didn't spring it. So we'll get back to town and we'll sort all this out. And your carriage very quickly rolls through the gates of Vorberg, and they close the gates behind you, recognizing Maximilian's carriage as it rolls in, and you see the watchmen there very hastily close the gates behind, and that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap for tonight's game, as you guys have all made it to Vorberg. So at this point, I would like to thank all the viewers who hopped in and wished me happy birthday. It is my 41st birthday today. So
his 104th birthday.
104th birthday. And thank my players. I hope everything's okay with Georgie. So if you're watching this later, Georgie, I hope everything is all right. Hope it's nothing too serious. Just hit us up later and just let us know everything's okay. And to my other players, thank you for being here tonight. We will resume in 2 weeks at the same time here for part 2, where we will... Yeah, every character lived and no one turned on each other yet because they haven't got to the good stuff yet. This is all just the wedding part's all just kind of the pre-game show. Now they're getting to the real stuff next session.
That Cork is very suspicious of Freddy.
Well, if...
Oh, is he?
Cork is suspicious of Freddy? You think Freddy's in on this already? Okay.
Maybe.
I think Freddy just got fingered.
So.
Well, I have to say, I guess, let's just say it's been it's been an experience of disappointments left and right. Because Cork was going to try to steal the bride, but the court changed his mind when he found out that she was pregnant. And oh
no, Cork is still going to go after the bride.
Oh, got it. and then Freddie just, yeah. I mean, he's got a little bit of a competitive streak, but not that much. So, he's a pretty good spirit, though. Good sense of humor as far as losing that foot race.
The opening chapter to Bitter Harvest, with the wedding and everything that goes down in Swansea, it's a lot of just fun and games sort of stuff. Like I said, there's a reception going on. There's a lot of just drinking, and there's these couple little party games that kind of take place, and those are all just things that are there to teach systems. So you learn social intrigue and chase scenes and how roles work.
We all agreed.
So those.
We all agreed.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can we all agree that Cork is like the most stealthy person in the group?
I think you probably are. It didn't work out so well for you, but I think you are.
That eavesdrop, though. Not so good at the
eavesdrop. Yeah.
So
Cork's got to work on the eavesdrop bit.
Yeah.
So we'll resume in 2 weeks for what should be a pretty hefty chunk of the meat of the story. Now that we're past kind of the fun and games part of the opening wedding ceremony and the reception type stuff. So again, 2 weeks, 5 p.m. Central, back here for part 2 of A Bitter Harvest. And I think, does anyone have anything else that they want to say or go here for before I depart?
Do we get any kind of like experience or RP?
Yeah, I'll handle that with you here once we're off stream. I'm not gonna.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody got any corruption today. So the last thing you do in every session as Zweihander is we roll versus your corruption to see if you
get more.
See if you get a order rank or a chaos rank for your alignment. Every session you will gain either order or a chaos rank. So you are all going to gain an order rank for today because nobody gained any corruption. If you had failed intoxication, if you failed like intoxication rolls and stuff, you could end up with corruption. If you do anything, if you get injured, those things cause corruption. If you take any like harder drugs, things like that, you can end up with corruption. But nobody took any, so I roll a d10 and we compare it with a number. And if the d10's higher than your number, you get an order rank. If it's less than, you get a. If I roll under your corruption, then you get a chaos rank. If you get over 10 corruption, I rolled a 6, so you guys definitely all did not get 6. So you all get you can all mark 1 dot on your alignment chart towards order, and you're all considered order aligned as long as you have more order dots than you do chaos dots.
Order in the court.
Great.
So again,
well, I will. I want to say though, as far as all these different game mechanics, I thought I was really intimidated about some of the things that I had seen in the core rule book as far as chase and rumor and all that. But I think the way that you have the sheet set up and everything, it really made it so much easier on us.
And I designed those. I designed those because for Terra and Treefell, and when I was going through the systems, I realized like having those things where I could put the rules on screen like that is good for viewers and also good for players to kind of learn. So I put those together specifically. Like those are not part of anything that is put out through with Zweihander. You don't get those necessarily. I just put those kind of together to make it easier.
No, very handy.
Track. So,
yeah, thank you for that.
So again, in 2 weeks we'll be back. Malice, are you streaming anything tonight? Are you going to be?
I am, but I'm probably going to be on a little bit later. Probably be kicking up some more Cyberpunk 2077. So,
how's that going for you?
Been enjoying it so far. I've had 2 nights, and we're about to delve into the meat of the story, really, because we've kind of done the intro raid, and it should be fun.
That's cool. Debbie, where are you going to be found next?
Well, let's see. I am. I'll definitely be on all the RPGs on Wednesday evening. I believe we're doing Starcrawl this week. I'll have to double check and see if I'm doing Viva La Dungeon hardcore on Tuesday night.
Is this a hardcore week for Viva La Dungeon?
I think it may be. I'll have to double check. And then what else am I doing? Yeah, I think that's kind of it. My schedule's filling up a little bit, but.
All right, so definitely Wednesday over on all the RPGs. They'll be able to find you there. Mm-hmm. All right, for me, I'm back tomorrow night for the Wisdom Check, 10 p.m. It'll be me and Jeff. And so you'll find us. And I don't think we have a guest or a topic lined up yet, but we'll have something figured out by tomorrow. Unless Jeff corrects me. And he hasn't said anything, so... Yep, you'll find me here tomorrow for the Wisdom Check, 10 p.m. And then on Wednesday, it's our All Flesh Must Be Eaten game at 10 p.m. Central Time. Come back for zombie fun as the new crew plus my character Duke, because we just got a bunch of new characters because all the characters died except me. So we got a, and I may not make it out of this next one. It's the Battle of Auto Region Part 2. Because we renamed AutoZone Auto Region because we thought it was funny. So Auto Region is we're currently stuck in an auto region being swarmed by zombies, and you can find out if any of us make it out of there alive. And of course, in that game, for 100 bits, you can just make a zombie attack us, like just show up and just try to kill us. So
it's a blast.
Bring your bits and come kill us, or give us loot. You can give us loot too. You ain't gotta be mean, but you know how chat rolls. So that's on Wednesday, and then on Saturday, Everstorm, our 5e game, returns. So you'll find me here Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. We may have video game stuff on Thursday, and we got some other... Cameron's going to do Bardic Knowledge on Tuesday, I think, again, but I haven't spoke to him to find out exactly what he's going to be working on, if he's done with Sid's theme or not. So all of our programs and stuff are in the panels. You can find out information on all of our shows. Join our Discord. You get daily updates on what we're doing there for sure. Again, thanks to the cast. I'm going to go ahead and flip us over here to the outro, and we will catch you guys all in 2 weeks.